Welcome to the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. We are in Loheac for the French round of the series, and with over 70,000 fans expected, this small town in the Breton region of the country will transform into an unashamedly partisan celebration of the Gallic love of rallycross and the French heroes who carry their dreams. Loheac marks round 8 of the season, and from here champions will be decided across the classes. With its uncompromising first corner and developing gravel surface, this track will provide a dramatic test for the capacity field attending. With the fastest drag race off the line of the season, Canada delivered high-speed action across the weekend. After day one, Christopherson's season dominance looked to be coming to an end as the champion lay 9th after a disappointing Q1 and Q2. But he's a champion for many reasons, and one of those is mental strength. He fought back on day 2 to take the top qualifier spot, semi-final win, and come the final he was unbeatable again, taking his 4th maximum score in a row. With that victory, Christopherson continues to set new benchmarks of dominance in the sport. The worrying stat for the others is that the champion is on for a hat-trick of wins in France. He loves this track. Christopherson's ongoing success sees PSRX Volkswagen Sweden at the top of the team's championship, with Team Peugeot Total second, followed by EKS Audi Sport. Sebastian Loeb and Timmy Hansen stood alongside Christopherson on the podium in Canada. As a result, they are now joint second in the Drivers' Championship, and their Peugeot team is eyeing up the team's trophy too. Add all that together and throw in the fact the team are on home turf, and the result is motivation with a capital M.
I'm always happy to come back here. It's a nice track, an incredible atmosphere, a lot of supporters around, so it's just amazing to drive here. I hope we will be able to fight in the front, but it's a really nice event.
Loheac is a massive event for us, of course, for the team Peugeot Total, but it's a massive event for the World Rallycross Championship. You know, it's the event of the year. I think it doesn't change anything in the way we work, and really we appreciate that. The atmosphere is very good.
We'll need to give our best to fight in the front, even if Johan is far away. I hope that I will be able to beat him a few times until the end of the season. That's the goal also.
2018 is the debut season for the French GCK outfit, and driving for the team that bears his name on home soil is Guerlain Chicherit.
Loheac is Loheac. You cannot really compare Loheac or describe Loheac. That's too crazy. I just feel good. I'm just happy to be here, and all the kids coming along and say hi. Well, I'm super happy to see them again for the first time. This is really amazing. So, no, it's only positive. Super happy. If we can achieve again to be in the final in this event, that's the goal. That's what we are fighting for. We are going to fight as much as possible to be there for sure.
With 2 rounds left, the Euro RX Championship is reaching its conclusion. Rainis Nitish leads reigning champion Anton Markland by 30 points. If he leaves here with a 31-point margin, he will be the champion heading into his home event in Latvia.
It's been a good season so far, as you tell, but nobody expected that before the season. I think if I have a chance, then I need to take it. Maybe second time it will not come to me.
From pure pace, I won't beat him. I will maybe catch up 10 points or so, and that won't be enough to win the championship. So I really need to score maximum points, as well as he's having some bad luck. Obviously, you don't want the championship to be decided that way, but I had my bad luck in Höljes, and then maybe he can have some bad luck now.
Not many people will remember who win Loheac race. Many people will remember who wins the championship. That's my thinking, and I go out fast racing, but at the same time a bit safe.
Before the action gets underway, let's take a look at the track here in Loheac. Loheac in France, a regular on the calendar and a bit of a classic. The first 2 corners here are very exciting indeed. 1,088 metres, 60% asphalt and 40% dirt. We ride with Sebastian Loeb in the Peugeot 208 off the start line here at Loheac, pulling gears down towards turn 1. This is where all the action happens. Through to turn 2 coming up now, in tight to the curbs on the left-hand side, and then again hard on the gas down this straight. But watch out for the braking zone. There's a big crest in this one as you come into turn 3, where the Joker lap splits off to the right. Standard lap left here. Loeb takes the Joker back on the gas, then a crest jump into a left-right. Tyres on both sides, then walls on both sides. You must not clip those. They will take a wheel off the car. Round the long right-hander through the merge, tight into the left. It's important to clip the curb here because that gives you the perfect line into the last corner. A long right-hander. Try not to get the car too sideways on the gas and over the line. With a capacity 25 cars entering World RX at Loheac, the pressure was on for the championship contenders to stay out of trouble. And with the entry list featuring a host of returning Rallycross frontrunners with something to prove, this was going to be tricky. The action was spectacular from the very first start. Timozianov unsuccessfully trying to go around the outside of Timmy Hansen in turn 1. And Topi Heikkinen on his 50th World RX start, having a fantastic battle with Robin Larsson. Hansen took the flag and set the target time for Peugeot at their home event. Crowd favourite Loeb had a tougher start to his day, with a power steering issue holding him and an early jokering Petter Solberg up. When Backerud took his Joker, he was able to slot in front of Solberg, Loeb dropping back to 3rd before the flag. But the battle of the session was between the world champion Johan Kristoffersson and a returning Liam Doran. The British bomb going all in on his first World RX start in over 2 years. The two swapped paint several times on the way to turn 3. When Kristoffersson finally took a lead, he would hold to the flag, winning the session in the process. Q2 saw Andrew Jordan getting turned around at the Joker split. He recovered in style, while de Moustier was penalised 5 seconds for the incident. Liam Doran had an eventful race with a typical Loheac first 2 corners, seeing him and Kevin Hansen side by side over the gravel trap. Matthias Ekström somehow avoided the carnage behind him and focused on putting in the kind of laps that won him a world title. The Audi would be top of the timesheet for Q2. The final race of the day saw Johan Kristoffersson with a very poor start. The fight back was on. Despite already being P3 by turn 3, he took his Joker immediately. And once teammate Solberg had Joker 2, the champion moved up a place again. With leader Backerud firmly in his sights, he didn't need asking twice when the Norwegian ran wide in the final corner. The champion enjoys winning, but he enjoys a good fight for a win too.
The lap time was good and there's not so much dust, so it's not so bad to be behind. Yeah, car felt good from there on, so Andreas did a mistake in the second last lap in the last corner, so it was open door, and from there on tried to make a good lap, but it was not enough for Matthias.
Yeah, it's great that you can still fight as well as just being quicker than everyone else.
Yeah, I'm not here just to, you know, drive through it. I'm here to race.
Johan Kristoffersson is the overnight TQ then from Ekström, Backerud, Solberg, Hansen, Loeb, Gronholm and Eriksson as your top 8. Kevin Hansen, Liam Doran, Gulan Shishiret and Timur Timozianov are currently inside the all-important 12th place, the cut-off point for the semi-finals.
Well, we're backstage here at EKS, and straight out of the car is Andreas Backerud. So warm up this morning, did you find out anything new about the track and the car?
Well, it was extremely slippery, so you know, track maintenance is very important in a track like here or in Rallycross. And you know, we have a lot of gravel. They put tons of water on yesterday evening to make sure that you guys can see us when racing on track, and the crowd as well. So very, very slippery, no risk. Just make sure everything is okay. Some cars only did 1 lap. I did 2 laps just to have a feeling, and it feels good. Sun is shining. People are happy. So great to be here in France, Loheac.
And it looks like your car is the one that can genuinely bring the fight to the Volkswagens this weekend, which must give you some confidence behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, not even give them the fight, but grab the win, you know? No, I mean, we go flat out. The whole crew here is hard at work, so yeah, I mean, we're going to push it all, and hopefully it can go all the way, and hopefully we can spray some good champagne at the end of the day.
Well, we hope so. Thanks, Andreas. Let's squeeze past.
Merci.
He's got the language, the local language ready. So important conversations here. Looking at the data there, I guess. Matthias, you only did one lap in warm-up this morning. Is that to save tyres, or what's the thinking?
No, the conditions was very strange. We just wanted to check the car was okay.
And it looks like the car is in a really good shape this weekend and genuinely up there with or quicker than the Volkswagens at times.
No, I think you can see the fastest times. We still have a bit to find, but we can stay competitive for the 4 laps so far. So we'll see now. Conditions will change a bit, so it's a bit more greasy. They were watering quite a lot yesterday, so I don't expect Q3 to be so fast lap time-wise as yesterday. So I think generally will be a bit greasier condition.
Now, obviously, we had a break since Canada, and I think the fans, after the action on Saturday, are very excited because, and us as well, we actually saw some real action on track in almost every race. There's overtaking, genuine battles, and that's what Rallycross should be.
I think it was yesterday there was some good action for sure, and we can hope that will be the same today. So still it's a long day, and the track here sometimes offers really good action in turn 1, but also the Joker merge. So I would expect another exciting day.
And finally, obviously, you'll be in the same race as Andreas, I think, in Q3. Any team tactics or just flat-out attack?
I think there's not much to say. We have to get on and get good starts, and then try to take it from there.
Okay. Well, we wish you all the best. Have a great day here in France.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Andrew Coley. I'll be commentating for you today. Joining me on commentary, Dan Rook, ex-British Rallycross champion and RX2 runner-up. Neil Colt reporting from the paddock. Here's how we stand as we go into Q3. Kristoffersen won Q1, Ekström won Q2. Then it's Backerud, Solberg, Hansen, Loeb, Gronholm and Eriksson as your top 8. Kevin Hansen, Leon Doran, Gulan Schiesserit and Timo Timosjanov currently just inside the all-important top 12. Q3, early Sunday morning and unique track conditions. Have a look at this. It is super slippery. Davy Genet, Timo Scheider into turn 2. Tiny little tap and just a passenger all the way into the tyre barrier. This was Genet leading, made a mistake on the first lap as well. He runs himself out wide. Super slippery, and in fact the Joker lap was faster. On to race 2, and now all of the drivers were aware that the alternative lap was quicker thanks to the tarmac section. So it was maximum attack as always through the first couple of corners. Andrew Jordan going backwards, sideways out to the gravel was Larson. Ollie O'Donovan trying to hold on to it onto the brakes. But Rustad, look, from the lead into the Joker, manages to come out still in the lead. Clips the curbs, runs himself wide. It's still so slippery. Robin Larson couldn't get through at this point. Ollie O'Donovan, in fact, took the Joker lap twice. Very clever. Unfortunately, he dropped it on the exit on his second attempt. Andrew Jordan just missing the rear. On the gas, spinning the car back round and rejoining the pack. This was at the finish. There was 100th of a second between them. Race 3. Toppy Heikkinen with an absolutely fantastic start. Pulled the handbrake, tried to go around the outside of Liam Doran. Unfortunately, ends up in the gravel trap. Comes back on, a little bit of contact. He spins it round again on the gas and chasing the pack. Didn't lose too much time. Here it is from the other angle. Watch Heikkinen here. Immediately on the throttle, spins the car around, drags it back out over the curb. Great job. Liam Doran absolutely flying in the GCK machine. Took the checkered flag with an outrageous time. We have got 2 races left to go in Q3 here at Loheac, and the legend Sebastian Loeb is in this one. The pressure is on here for Peugeot. Overnight, Sebastian Loeb was P6. Any of the Peugeots in the final would be good. 6th is a good position to be in. All of the Peugeots are in this one. So Timmy Hansen on the inside, 5th overnight. Solberg 4th. Schiesserit 11th with a 4th best lap time yesterday in Q2. Great job by him. Sebastian Loeb and Kevin Hansen. Now, ahead of this session, the stewards announced that it would be a 3-second penalty instead of 2 Joker laps if you jump the start. And that was because at the start of Q3, the Joker lap was faster than the standard lap. So we've seen the drivers so far have been taking the Joker as a shortcut, but the track is drying. and we think the times are pretty even between them. Not a good start by Solberg, has to kick the clutch. On the inside, Hansen too, Schischrich, and maybe going to get the whole shot. Hansen's across the gravel. Loeb's going to be in the outside on the gravel. Kevin Hansen trying to come around, so at the minute it's Timmy Hansen leading from Solberg, Kevin Hansen, Sebastian Loeb is out the back door, so everyone being a little bit cagey. What are they going to do on the Joker lap here? Because we've seen the leader take it immediately in the last couple of races, and he does. So Timmy Hansen goes Joker, and Dan, this is going to tell us if it's still faster or not.
So yeah, it's time to really see. You know, we've got a lot of the factory cars in this race as well, so yeah, we can see Timmy's coming out still in front. You can visibly see how much drier the inside line is there.
Loeb's got a problem. Sebastian Loeb's got a problem after there, so you can see he's really struggling to turn the car in, so it's either transmission or power steering. But at the minute, Timmy Hansen leads from Solberg, but Solberg is almost certain to Joker now in response to try to get underneath him. And I say, this is why the stewards intervened this morning, because even Liam Doran was threatening to do a jump start on purpose, so he'd have to do two Joker laps. So the stewards were across this. We must have an ex-spotter up there, I reckon, telling what's going on. Watch for Solberg. Here he goes.
So yeah, Solberg's gone into the Joker lap now, and we've seen him do some fantastic Joker laps here. You know, he's so fast over the jump, through the chicane.
He's going to get Schischrich. I'm not sure he's going to get Hansen. It's going to be close between them. Solberg's going to come out sideways. Hansen's going to be up his inside, though. Timmy Hansen gets a nudge. Solberg's going to be out in the greasy stuff. Hansen's going to hold on. That's going to play into Schischrich's hands. Schischrich trying to come around the outside of Solberg. He'll be on the gas in the GCK machine. Can't get through there. But now Schischrich is in a position to be able to take the jump on Solberg if he takes the Joker, because he wasn't on his boot lid, and he is now.
So yeah, Schischrich's still yet to Joker. You know, I'm sure Midry's going to be up there calling it right now, trying to get him into the Joker and get the best line possible through there. And you just got to make sure
but Loeb's got a problem. Okay, watching Schischrich in. He was early on the brakes. He's going to be tidy through the Joker lap. Watch for the merge. He should come out somewhere alongside Solberg. They look a long way back here, but the right-hander is greasy. Where's Schischrich going to be? I don't think he's going to have done enough. So Schischrich's not quite quick enough through the Joker. You really need to commit through there if you want to make that up. But again, it shows us that the grip levels are coming back to normal, Dan. And I think we're going to end up in a situation where the Joker and the standard lap are similar. Next session, it's going to go back to normal.
Yeah, I think so. You know, there's not going to be so much tactics to be used there. I think, you know, there might be a little bit. It just depends how committed you can be through that chicane, you know. It's hard to pick your breaking point there.
Solberg alongside Hansen trying to outbrake him. Sorry to interrupt. Tries to go around the outside, going to try and undercut him on the exit, but Hansen will be clever on the throttle. He's patient with it. Solberg right up behind him. 2:51.3 is the target time. Hansen has been banging in 42s. I think Liam, what did Liam get down to? Was it 41? Need the time is going to go. Yeah, Liam was on 41, so let's see whether or not Timmy can take it. He's got the left and the right to go. He's not going to. They're going to be some way off. So Liam Doran at the minute is leading Q3. Hansen takes this one. 2:55.6. 4.2 seconds Liam Doran leads this by. And I don't think he had any more of an advantage than Timmy had there. Timmy, you know, got the whole shot, took the Joker on lap 1, didn't really get into any trouble. So Liam Doran, from race 3 of Q3, in conditions that we thought weren't so favourable, is 4 seconds quicker than Timmy Hansen in the following race. We've got one race still to go. Could Doran take a Q win on his return to the sport after 2 years out? Hansen winning race 4 from Solberg. Schischrich with another great drive. Gilles Schischrich's come alive this weekend at home. Kevin Hansen and Sebastian Loeb. Loeb said he'd recorded the fastest lap of the day, but 41, yeah, it was a 41.5. It's bizarre. His first lap was absolutely miles off. And then Loeb, you can see he's dropped off the timing screen completely. It's Doran who leads. We'll try and figure it out for you. So on board with Loeb, let's watch this. Dan, see if you see anything that might damage the car.
So yeah, he's had a knock on the front wheels there all the way through into the gravel. You can see a lot of steering input, trying to pull himself out, and well,
it's strange. Like I say, he was 10 seconds off on lap 1, and then he's knocked in a couple of 41s later in the race. We're looking at our time screen in the commentary box now. So I reckon maybe Loeb reset the car.
Yeah, maybe, you know, doing the classic switch it on, switch it back on again.
Always works, doesn't it? Telephones, computers, you know.
Whether it works with race cars, who knows? But something obviously wasn't right on the first lap, and it turned around for the remaining of the qualifying session.
Great job, Timmy. How hard was it to fight with Solberg when there's so little grip?
It was unbelievable. These were one of the most difficult fights I've ever had. You know, you have to be really clever in staying in the grip. It's so difficult out there, and still Peter was pushing so hard from behind. And I wish you could hear on TV what my spotter is telling me.
My dad made an incredible job in guiding me throughout this race. Every single corner he was there. Now you need to be tight. This one you push. Petter's behind, Petter's here, Petter's there. Get in the curb. I couldn't have done this without Dad.
Well done. See you later.
Right, let's take a look then at two of our drivers who are coming up in this next one. Niklas Gronholm versus Kevin Eriksson. Jarek Tanako versus Olsberg's MSC. You can see very much an up and down season for these two guys. In fact, almost matching each other in the last 3 events. 14 times they've met on track this season. 64% of the time it has gone the way of Niklas Gronholm, and that is a mark of just how quick the Finn has been this year. A real step forward. 6 qualifying race wins compared to 4. Neither of them has won a semi-final or a final so far this year. What can they do here on a drying track? Massive, massive crowd already in the house, looking forward to the last race of Q3. Take a look at the lineup for this one. On the inside, Matthias Ekström. Next to him, Johan Kristoffersson. Those guys won the first 2 sessions. Kristoffersson was faster, but got a bad start in Q2, so Ekström took Q2 from him. Backward, I don't think has had a clean run yet. Can he get one here? Kevin Eriksson did a mega job yesterday to get himself into this final race. He said this was the most important session of the day because of the track conditions. Very clever stuff from him. There's some great minds in this rallycross paddock. And Niklas Gronholm doing a fantastic job in P7, a 9th and a 5th yesterday. World champion lining up next to ex-world champion. And there's 3 other guys on the grid who love to take that title too. They won't be doing it this season, but they're all putting in some fantastic performances. Green for the last race of Q3, even start from the 3 on the inside. Kristoffersson's going to get squeezed by the 2 Audis. Contact between him and Ekström. Ekström swings back across the track backwards, going to end up out in the gravel. Kristoffersson trying to go around the outside. They're all feeling the grip. Remember, we now slippery. It's backward as a look at the inside. Ekström is so sideways for every single inch of the track, a bit of the gravel track too. Early on the brakes, is he going to go Joker on lap 1? Do they still think it's the premium weight? They do. So Ekström goes in straight away. Kristoffersson now has got to chase him and be right on his tail to do the same on lap 2.
So yeah, Kristoffersson's got to push hard, but not too hard. We don't want to see him make any mistakes here. He's kept it nice and tight, but we still see Ekström coming out in front again, so it's still faster to go through the Joker lap.
Eriksson and Gronholm went as well, but it wasn't enough for them to make up for the start. So this is about how close Kristoffersson can get to Ekström, and whether or not he thinks to follow for a lap and get right on his tail, or whether he goes now if he thinks Ekström might gap him. So look, he's all over the back of him. I think Kristoffersson will go now, Dan.
I think he has to go. He's got backward behind him who hasn't jokered.
Ekström looking in the mirrors. Fantastic shot there of Ekström taking a glance across. He will know how close Kristoffersson is. Kristoffersson stays with him. Johan's decided to follow him.
Okay, so I thought he may have gone then. Obviously, I thought backward could have maybe got the leap on Kristoffersson if he was a bit closer. If he joked.
Look at this though. Look at this. The Kristoffersson again. So you said this morning, Dan, how patient is he on the throttle?
Yeah. So we were watching him in warm up, and he was so much later on the throttle. But because he was a bit later, he was able to literally just commit to the throttle instead of feathering it out of the corner. And he's just maximum power straight away instead of having the car sliding and waiting. And able to just go. So.
I think he's closer on this lap than he was on the lap before. So will Johan go now, or is he going to wait until the very last lap to try and undercut him? Remember, we're in this unique situation where the tarmac Joker lap is looking quicker than the standard. He thinks he's close enough. Johan goes, backward goes with him. Ekström's teammate is going to try and get the edge, and his boss as well. Pops it up over the curve. Look at the gap back now. Ekström's going to wait and wait and wait, try and suck the nose of the car in. Kristoffersson's going to come through. Oh, sideways and in. Holds onto it somehow. Ekström's going to try and get back up the inside. Brilliant job by Johan Kristoffersson. Fantastic bit of car control.
Yeah, that was superb. You know, he just caught the inside of the curve there. Maybe that helped pull the car in, but you know, we saw earlier his teammate Solberg nearly ended up in the wall there, so he had to be very careful.
41.2 by Johan, fastest lap of the day. He's just edged Liam Doran out by 0.4 of a second on that one. So Kristoffersson looking to challenge for the fastest time of the day. The EKS teammates are right behind him. This has been a mad session in all the years we've been doing this championship. This has been crazy with the grip levels and the difference with the Joker. Here we go. Kristoffersson hunting the time, bottom right of your screen. 2:51.397 is the time of Liam Doran for GCK. Round the right-hander, Kristoffersson is early on the gas this time. Now he's patient, looking to stop the clocks ahead. Is he going to do it? He does! He does. Kristoffersson takes it. So Johan Kristoffersson has taken his second session of the weekend, 6/10 faster than Liam Doran. Liam Doran gets P2 on his return to the World Championship. I can't lie, I'm a little bit disappointed for Liam. I know I'm supposed to be unbiased, but having had him come back, It's you know, he's going to be lining up next to Johan in the final race of the day, which is great because we saw them have a right tear up in Q1, and they both enjoyed it. I must add, Johan really enjoyed the race with Liam, but what a drive! And as long as they're reliable in the final session, Liam Doran's going to make the semi-finals. But this man, at the minute, again, unstoppable. Brilliant tactics to follow Ekstrom until he was right behind him, and then Joker to take the lead in these unique track conditions where the tarmac Joker is just slightly quicker than the gravel section of the track. 40.9 on his last lap. Kristoffersson actually went faster on his last lap. He dipped into the 40s. The only person to do that in this session. That gives him a 250.7 and is enough to see him at the top of the table. The outstanding performances here for me. Liam Doran and Timo Timosjanov look in P2 and P5. Ekstrom, Bakker and Eriksson, of course, were all in that final race. Timmy Hansen and Yannis Baumanis 7th and 8th. Fantastic stuff. Kristoffersson winning 2 sessions will be TQ at this point. Can he hold on through Q4? There, a little bit of contact between the two Audis, sensible stuff, but still the grip level slippery.
Yeah, it is very slippery and very sensible of Kristoffersson there to back out. You know, it meant that the two Audis actually had a bit of a coming together, so he pushed them onto each other, but he keeps it very neat and tidy. And so this is lap 1, where we've got Ekstrom coming out of the Joker lap, but Kristoffersson, he didn't really put a foot wrong.
This was where Kristoffersson was so close, wasn't it? We actually missed the point. Ekstrom ran wide, didn't he? When I say wide, I mean 2 feet off the long right-hander on the outside of the Joker lap, and that was enough to give Johan that bit of space. And Johan there moved across to try and shut the door on Ekstrom. There's no malice there. That's just 2 cars on 2 different lines. Kristoffersson held on to that sideways moment, banged in the 2 fastest laps of the day, and he wins Q3.
Johan, that was a very good save when you came out of the Joker merge and you were ahead of Matthias. You don't seem to have a clutch right now.
It's okay, it's no worries. But yeah, the heat was good. Launch wasn't the best, but a little bit too much wheel spin. Didn't want to stall as yesterday. So, but from there on, I was very fast, and it was all about don't do any mistakes. And then exit of the Joker. Yeah, I didn't expect Matthias to hit me. I thought he should have, you know, go for the time, but yeah, he wanted to have some argy-bargy, but it's okay. So I think I was also the quickest, so okay, good.
You were quickest, but also you are lined up next to Liam Doran in Q4 now, which should be very interesting.
So it's me and Liam second. Cool.
Good luck, thank you.
Good old Johan Kristoffersson. Looking forward to Q4 when he will line up next to Liam Doran, but at the minute he lines up at the top of the table. Kristoffersson, Ekstrom, a little bit of contact in that last one. Johan saying, I thought he might go for the time, but he wanted some argy-bargy. The reason for that, I think, is that Ekstrom knew if he beat Kristoffersson in this one, he stood a chance with the track drying of taking the top qualifier spot off him. So I understand why Ekstrom was so keen to shut the door there. Bakker in P3, Liam Doran in P4, Hansen, the best of the Peugeots, 5th, Solberg, Eriksson, Niklas Gronholm are your top 8. Where is Loeb? Loeb is in P12. So Loeb is in P12, and the only man who can deny him, I think, if you look at the points on the right, is Guerlain Chicherit. So we've got a French fight for the final spot in the semi-finals. Joining, of course, Timosjanov, Kevin Hansen and Yannis Baumanis. Well, here we are then, some fantastic slow-motion pictures, as always. An analysis package for you from one of the classics, Loheac in France, round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. This is Matthias Ekstrom through the right and the left, looking for apexes. Look at that, beautiful transition, Dan.
Yeah, it looks a little bit slippy there. Might have been from earlier in the morning on Saturday in the practice when the tracks are a bit greener, a bit slippier. So using all the curb there to try and find that bit of extra grip. In fact, I think he could be even straddling the curb there, hooking a wheel on the inside.
So here's Baumanis, gets across that first curb, and you can see that unsettles the car, but obviously it gives you a little bit more road as well. So I guess it's a balance between how much curb you use and how much track you want to use, how stable you want to keep it.
Yeah, you can see that using the curb has rotated the car through the corner, and it's got him a good drive out of it. But obviously it does unbalance it on the exit, so we are at quite a grippy track here in Loheac, so it shouldn't affect it too badly. You should be able to catch a grip properly. Oh, big sideways here from Solberg.
Kristoffersson. So this was Kristoffersson during practice. So Kristoffersson, and that, I think, is the super fast right-hander it is at the Joker merge, so that'd be like 5th, maybe even 6th gear down the back there. So Johan exploring the limits, finding them and the gravel trap. And actually, this is the time you want to do that, isn't it? Because it's free practice, you know, see how late you can go. Here's his teammate Solberg, and this is what Kristoffersson wanted and will have done later in the session.
Yeah, so Kristoffersson went off on one of the faster parts of the track there. You know, it's not very nice corner to go off on. You know, again, free practice, the track is starting to rubber up, so he's just trying to find the limits there, and, well, Petter found it perfectly, and I think Kristoffersson maybe just went a little bit too far, but obviously finding that limit in practice, so he didn't make the mistake in Q1.
I wonder if he'll have had a telling off 55-point championship lead in the gravel trap in 6th gear. That's maybe not the done thing, is it? They were allowed to touch those track markers during free practice, but they were told that if they continued to touch them during the course of the racing, they'd be given warning or penalties. So the markers there basically to stop the drivers just completely crossing the curbs, because the suspension on these cars basically allows you to take whatever line you like, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can use as much curb as you need. You know, the suspension travel on these cars is ridiculous. You know, I'm sure they're probably running... Oh, yeah, we can see Timmy Hansen there. He's really looking far ahead of him. He's looking for his transition into the final hairpin there as he comes out of the Joker merge. And that's one thing that you get taught as a driver, to look as far ahead as you can, and then you can use your peripheral vision to pick your lines, pick your braking points, and then make the most of the track you've got available.
Just the final qualifying session remains here at Loheac for round 8 of the World Rallycross Championship. Johan Kristoffersson currently leading from Ekström, Backerud, Doran, right up there. Timmy Hansen, Solberg, Eriksson, Gronholm are your top 8. Then it's Timosyanov, Hansen, Baumanis, but the big story is 2 Frenchmen, Sébastien Loeb and Gulan Chicherit, fighting for the final spot in the semis. The first race of Q4 was more about who went off and what happened than the pace of anyone. Ollie O'Donovan getting the whole shot. This was Serrazan running wide. On the inside, you can see there Timo Scheid already in trouble, and then a problem with the car, we think, as he dropped it on the brakes at the end of the straight. Emmanuel Anne, a spin here, almost in the wall. Ollie O'Donovan coming out of the Joker lap, and another spin for him, just nudging into the tyre wall. That left Serrazan out front to take the flag. On to race 2, and Sébastien Loeb in need of a fantastic time to book a place in the semi-finals at home in France. Andrew Jordan beat him away from the lights. When he jokered, he came out behind Oliver Bennett, and that was after a nudge on the way into the Joker anyway. Andrew Jordan then jokered to protect his position. Sébastien Loeb with a little nudge on the left-hand side and then look up the inside. A brilliant pass, to be fair, to the 9-time World Rally legend to take the lead, but he had lost time. Had he lost too much, would he make it through to the semi-finals? Great drive by him to take the win. Kevin Hansen, of course, also representing Peugeot at home in France, managing to take the lead through turn 2, while in the background Niklas Gronholm was on the receiving end of a little nudge that saw him out on the loose stuff. Kevin out front, no problems, all the way round to the checkered flag. On to race 4 of Q4. Kevin Eriksson, Timmy Hansen, Yannis Baumanis, Petter Solberg and Gulan Chicherit. Now the big story here is Sébastien Loeb in P12. Baumanis and Chicherit either side of him. Chicherit is the danger man. If he can do something, Loeb was held up just a little bit. So can Chicherit beat his time? He's going to have a race on his hands anyway, because of course these 5 guys are all incredibly quick. Green flag, good to go. Second to last race of qualifying here at round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, waiting for the green. Well, good start, Eriksson on the inside, Baumanis goes backwards. It's going to be Solberg who moves across, trying to take the whole shot, but Hansen's up his inside. Solberg sideways will get the inside line for turn 2. Hansen's found the traction, contact the background, Eriksson runs wide. Chicherit's going to come clean through this, maybe get past Baumanis. Chicherit is the danger man for Sébastien Loeb. Baumanis collects him a little bit on the brakes. Does Chicherit go Joker? He doesn't, he goes standard lap.
So I actually saw Chicherit off the line. They backed out very early to avoid the carnage going into turn 2, and it's paid off. You know, he was last going into turn 1, and then third coming in out of turn 2. So
well done. Yeah, so that's the thing here, isn't it? As if you missed the start, we were saying earlier on today, you can just sit back, watch the mistakes. We nearly always see a car in the gravel on the outside of turn 1 on the transition to turn 2 where people tried to go brave around the outside. Look at the gravel in the road down as well.
So yeah, you can see, I think there was at least 2 cars then went through the gravel and, you know, dragged it onto the racing line, so it's going to make it a little bit slippy for them.
You're on board with Schiescherich looking at the battle in front. Solberg's going to have a look up the inside of Hansen, but can't quite find the traction. Smoke off the rear of Solberg's car. He's absolutely all over the back of the Peugeot. Timmy Hansen, normally really tidy. Solberg tidy through there this time. Watch them through the last 2 corners here. You'll sometimes see the contrast in the style. I wonder if Solberg will be just a little bit tidier. In fact, yeah, they're both pretty sideways through the last right-hander. Solberg used to be so much more sideways to him, and Kristoffersen has taught him the ways of circuit racing, which is the quick way around this track.
Yeah, especially here, you know. We used to see Petter come around this corner. I remember watching a video from 2013. It was comparing his style compared to backwards. Backward was neat, tidy, and Solberg was fully lit.
Absolutely sideways. Well, he'll be fully lit through the Joker lap here. Almost into the curve on the left, gets the one on the right. So it's not perfect, but it's not far off. We've seen Solberg hop the curves on both sides. That's a bit more like his normal style. Comes across and moves to shut the door on Schiescherich. Schiescherich looking to beat Loeb's time of 2:37.9. But it will depend where everybody else slots into qualifying too. Timmy Hansen is going to Joker on this last lap. So Hansen through the left, down towards the Joker lap entry. Look at Solberg, he's absolutely on a mission. Here we go, fastest step of the day, Timmy Hansen. That's just what he needs on the run into the Joker. Hansen desperate to hold on for the win in this second-to-last race in qualifying. Tyre smoke there as well from Ericsson as he goes in. Hansen up over the curbs, Solberg around the outside. I think Solberg's on a flyer here. Hansen moves out to try and shut the door and can't. So Solberg has got him. Petter Solberg must have put in a hell of a lap on that one to get past. Petter Solberg is going to take race 4, Q4, he crosses the line and goes quickest. Schiescherich though, where's Schiescherich? Schiesscherich's time, 2:37.5. He's beaten Loeb. Schiescherich has beaten Loeb, but where's Baumanis? 2:39.8, so Loeb has beaten Baumanis. We're going to need to wait and see the points at the minute, but Schiescherich has beaten Loeb. That's all he can do. It depends on the other results, so we'll let you know at the end of the session who has made it through to the semi-finals. Good job by Solberg there. Petter Solberg takes it, 2:35.5 from Timmy Hansen, Gilles Schiescherich, Janis Baumanis and Kevin Eriksson. Baumanis was in P11, but as you can see, it's not on the front page. So I think Baumanis is going to go out. Schiescherich might well go through with Sebastian Loeb. We could see 2 Frenchies go through, and the crowd will very much like that. 1 race to go. Even start, wasn't it? Hansen with a little nose in the side of Solberg, Baumanis in the background here. Schiescherich, great drive.
So yeah, you can see what I mean. He sort of kept himself back out of the way off the line there and put him on the perfect line to pick up, you know, the mistakes that people made in turn 2. So very close race here with Solberg and Hansen. We see him really sideways on the way out of the Joker up there, trying to use as much momentum as he can through the corners, but keeping it very neat and tidy. Hansen, a lot more sideways than we normally see from him here, but...
It was good, wasn't it?
It was good, but yeah, Petter able to get the overlap on such a short Joker lap, so
Solberg takes it.
Petter, good to get a race win. The time's the best so far, but you look like you were being held up a little bit.
Yeah, I felt I was much faster. It was really frustrating, but the thing is, you can't do any stupid things. You know, I need the stability and do the best I can. We do it on the Joker lap, but of course I was hold back a lot. But you have to respect that also. It's not just driving through people, you know. But happy with my driving, and the car was good. Had a good start, and okay, small risk in the first corner to get in, but I got a little bit pushed out. So it's the best I could do now in this position.
Yeah, we'll see you in the semis.
Thanks. Yeah.
On to the very last race of qualifying here in France. This should be fantastic. Kristoffersen on the inside looking to break records here. We'll explain that to you during the race. Liam Doran, 4th after Q3, looking for a front row start in the semi-finals on his debut with GCK after a 2-year break, mixing it with the factory cars. Nearly won Q3. Ekstrom and backwards, 2nd and 3rd after Q3. And Timothy Yala in 9th. The Russian would very much like to make it through to the semi-finals. Liam, looking at the qualifying standings, unlikely to be able to make it past either of the Audis. Timmy Hansen and Petter Solberg are his danger men for coming off the front front row. We saw a great fight between him and Johan in Q1. Boy, Johan gets the better start. Liam's not got such a good start as Johan has. I think he'll drop in behind him. Liam Doran, a little bit of contact, drops in though into P2. Backward having a look up the inside, but right across the gravel trim. Oh, contact for Liam, right up the rear wheel. He's going to have to get on the gas. Liam's fully sideways, and he's getting up P5 there. So Liam Doran goes backwards. He's still going to make the semi-finals, but he's not going to challenge Christopherson in this one. We're on board with Ekstrom. Where did Liam go? We didn't see in the background. So Ekstrom following backward down the back straight. I think Liam Doran's gone standard lap. He has. Liam Doran there, you can see on the standard lap. Timozyanov takes the joker on the first one.
So yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Liam. Just that tiny bit of contact on the back wheel of Christopherson's enough to just put you that far offline and, you know, send you towards the gravel. So he did well to keep it off the out of the wall there and recover himself to get back on the back of the train.
Good drive by Timozyanov. He's on the back of the train already, having jokered, so maybe taking advantage of some of the action in front. Liam having a very, very strong look here at Matthias Ekstrom. So Ekstrom is under pressure from Liam Doran in the GCK machine. Liam saying he could not believe how late he could brake in this car. So open over the jump, going to go left and right, looking to try and get past at least Timozyanov, but Timozyanov was right behind him. He was only 0.7 back, and Liam's going to end up behind the Russian. So, but he was definitely quicker than Ekstrom, at least as quick as Ekstrom, so he needed to do something.
Yeah, he looked like he was all over the back of him. So try and split the strategy. He's got hope now that, you know, Timozyanov's going to be able to catch back up to the two Audis in front of him, but we can see Christopherson's just checked out. To be honest, he's got enough of a gap to backward now to Joker and still come out in front of him.
Christopherson absolutely flying out front. He's looking to take his third from 4 sessions here. If he does, it'll be another TQ for him. World Championship leader, just absolutely smashing it again. But we're seeing some great racing this weekend, particularly because we're seeing, say, privateer squads of GRX and Hyundai right up there on the pace, backward, slotting in, I think, behind. We're on board with Timozyanov looking at backward and Ekstrom in front. So Ekstrom now's got, I think Ekstrom's not, for some reason, Ekstrom's pace is not there on this one. Maybe saving tyres. Fastest lap of the day, Christopherson, but maybe Ekstrom trying to save a set of tyres. This pace is very abrasive, Dan.
Yeah, it's good thinking from Ekstrom. You know, he's very comfortably in P2. You know, he's got his teammate behind him in the standings for, yeah, he's looking like he's going to get on the front row for the semi-final.
Christopherson coming round towards the end of the lap. He's setting records left, right and centre, and this one will be his 15th top qualifier spot. We'll see him at the top of the all-time records for TQ. Backward crosses the line, Timozyanov, Ekstrom, and Doran so close behind. That's Christopherson's 4th top qualifier, 5th, of the season. The record is 6, it's his record, of course, and that's 5 TQ spots in a row. So Johan Christopherson, another record, 5 in a row, 15 total. The world champion is on fire. Christopherson takes it 2:33.6 from backward Timozyanov. Ekstrom didn't look right on it here, but maybe saving tyres. Liam Doran with a 2:38.0. This is where they slot in. Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen, Solberg look right up there, and Liam further down. So I think Liam's going to drop off the front row. We'll find out it literally in just a couple of minutes, so stay with us. And then backward Timozyanov, Shisharit and Ekstrom. Shisharit doing a brilliant job there to book himself a slot, I think, in the semi-finals. Off the line then, good start. Liam didn't quite get the best start there, and then here, look, as backward comes on. In fact, no, it was a contact, wasn't it, from Liam on the inside. Look at this, big save.
So yeah, I think Liam maybe thought he had a bit more room than he did, and just caught the back end of Christopherson, and it, you know, you see it lifted the front of the car up and forced him out, and he had to really throw it sideways to keep it out of the gravel.
Ekstrom sideways through the left and the right. Is he managing tyres? Is he saving something for the semis? You'll be able to find out later on today.
Nearly 2 seconds quicker than anybody else in that session, and that's your 5th consecutive top qualifier. You made it look very easy.
It was we did some few changes before this heat for the launch, and I get a very good launch, so finally back to very comfortable in the launch. That's exactly what I need for semi-final and final, because it makes life so much easier if you are up in front. And I mean, on the track the car is really a weapon. We have a very good tire strategy for this weekend, so I think we will have good tires for semi-final and final. So yeah, I'm just feeling very good, very happy, and enjoying the crowd and the track. And I have to say that the car is best ever on a high grip track, so super confident and super happy.
Very good, thank you.
Johan Christophersen takes the top qualifier spot here in France. That is his 5th TQ in a row, a new record. He's 15th in the all-time standings. He's got 15 TQs and 15 wins. That season was the most successful driver in the history of the World Rallycross Championship, both top qualifiers and wins. He's absolutely destroying it. Says the car's great, everyone else is dreading it, but it's top qualifier for him. Bakkerud, Ekstrom, so it's Christophersen versus Ekstrom in Semi 1, and it's Bakkerud versus Solberg in Semi 2, so that's great. Audis versus VWs in the 2 different races. Timmy Hansen, Liam Doran will be on the 2nd row. Kevin Hansen, Timmer's Yarnov. Q8, that's good for Timmer. That might be one of his best results of the year in qualifying. Gronholm makes it through as well. Schiesterit is through. So is Ericsson. And Sebastian Loeb has scraped it. Look at the back of the field. Unfortunately, that has cost Yannis Baumanis. Here's the man who drops out of the top 12 at the end of Q4. The penultimate round of the RX2 International Series takes place here at Loheac. It is round 6 of 7. We have just South Africa to go. So the championship is going to go all the way down to that final round, because these are the standings as we are now. And this is after the semi-finals. So Oliver Eriksson came here with an 11-point lead. Guillaume de Ridder won 3 of the 4 qualifying sessions to take TQ, but Oliver Eriksson won the 4th one and was right behind him anyway. So 1-point advantage. Those 2 guys then both won their semi-finals. So the gap is down by 1 point to 10. So this final is absolutely crucial, because those 2 at the front are on the front row of the grid. So they're racing here to increase or decrease the championship lead. So let's take a look at the grid for round 6 of RX2 2018. Guillaume de Ridder on pole, 10 points back, wants to close that gap to Oliver Eriksson, who wants to extend it because it's a long wait to South Africa. Henrik Krogstad is in P3 in the series. Sami Matti Trogan on row 2 with him. And bringing up the rear, Sondre Evjen and Conor Martel. Can hear the cars vibrating away. Normally aspirated 1-make series. Dan Rook, of course, on CoComs, the runner-up in this series last year, so plenty of experience. Great start by both the championship protagonists at the front. I think de Ridder is going to take this up to turn 1. Oliver Eriksson's going to try and shut the door, but de Ridder won't have it. He runs Eriksson wide. That's exactly what he needs. He needs Eriksson to go back a couple of places. It's Krogstad who's come around the outside, and Eriksson then is going to get dumped down to at least P3. Is anyone going to do anything desperate behind him? They try. Oliver Eriksson managed to avoid any of the carnage. Martel still down in P6 now, having a little look up the inside. I think it was of Evjen he was trying to get past, and it's Sami Matti Trogan who's down in P4 at the moment.
So yeah, we've had a change for the lead there at the hairpin. It was Krogstad who managed to get up the inside of de Ridder. So Krogstad's been very much the star rookie this year. He's, I believe, he is 3 podiums from a potential 5. So
really good performance. So in his first season, to get his head around these cars and to get ahead of these guys. And of course, that's what de Ridder didn't need. De Ridder needs to take the win here at the least. If he's got Eriksson behind him, that's a 3-point close down on the lead. Whereas if they're in P2 and P3, it's not such a points advantage, is it?
No, it's not such a big one. I'm surprised. I was thinking we might have seen one of the 2 Oldsberg's MSC cars dip into the Joker lap then. But, that being said, also, they're pulling a bit of gap to the guys behind them, so they may have come out in traffic, because we've only got a short Joker lap here. It's only about 1.1, 1.2 for supercars. It's roughly the same for these guys, because, they're very nimble through the chicane. So, good train going on, there's...
Evjen's joking at the back, look, from Martel, who hasn't. De Ridder is right up behind. What would you do here, Dan? Do you think it's time to joker for de Ridder now and just see if he can do something to lose Eriksson?
Yeah, I'd say so. So
he was wide in there, he was wide in. Little nudge maybe from Oliver as well.
Maybe just help with the rotation into the corner, I guess. It didn't hinder him too much.
Off the curbs nicely. It's a tidy joke lap. He needs to come out in front to Martel if he can. Trogan was on the back of that trainer going pretty well. If Trogan holds him up, that'll be difficult for de Ridder. Will Eriksson respond now?
I wouldn't say so. I'd say now, you got de Ridder stuck behind Trogan, and Eriksson's got a tiny bit of clear track in front of him. He can try and chase down Krogstad and try and get the gap. He's going to be hoping now that Trogan doesn't go into the Joker to respond to de Ridder, and they get a bit held up there.
Eriksson stays out on the main lap. Krogstad, who leads, had 3rd in Belgium, 3rd in Norway, 2nd place in Sweden. So Krogstad is looking here for a debut RX2 victory. at one of the biggest events of the year. You'd love to win Sweden or here, wouldn't you, Dan?
Yeah, so unfortunately this event for me wasn't very good, and in front of the biggest fans, you know, he's going to be loving it. I'm sure we're going to be seeing some jumping on roof action should he
take the win. That's what we want to see. Oliver Eriksson has had a bit of a result here. He's 1.2 up on De Ridder. It's Eriksson and De Ridder, remember, for the championship. Eriksson P2, De Ridder P4. Krogstad is on a big push. Eriksson goes joking out. Here's the championship as it stands at the minute. It would be a 12-point lead for Eriksson, were he to finish where he was when he jokered. Round the outside comes De Ridder. This is going to be super close. De Ridder's going to try and get up the inside of Eriksson, but I think he's going to know he can't. Is he going to get Menard? He doesn't, so Eriksson has managed to get De Ridder, and that's going to give him one extra point at the minute. That depends what happens with Trogan when he goes to the joker lap in front, and Krogstad is looking really strong.
So yeah, really good call by Eriksson, spotter there. He noticed the gap was just about enough, and you know, he couldn't have gambled for Trogan to go for the joker and release De Ridder, so he took advantage of being in front of him, got the joker done, and now we see Krogstad going to the joker, because he's actually got enough of a gap now back to P2 to make it work.
Krogstad over the jump, a little bit sideways as he comes through, but he should have enough of a gap over the two championship leaders. Krogstad's really sideways. No! He's dropped it! Krogstad's dropped it on the last corner. De Ridder over the gravel trap. He's going to drop back one. Oliver Eriksson is going to take the win here. Eriksson comes through to take the win with 8 crucial championship points. Krogstad dropped it in the last corner. No! Trogan got De Ridder as well, so Sami-Matti Trogan got De Ridder. Eriksson knows this is a key moment in the championship. 2 corners from home, he thought he just managed to edge De Ridder by 1 point. Instead, he's going to get him by 4. It's 8 for the win, then 5 and 4. De Ridder there has lost out to Eriksson. Eriksson has extended his championship lead. He came here with 11, it went down to 10, but it is about to go back up. The man I feel most sorry for is Krogstad, who is on for a debut win and dropped it on the joker lap exit on the very last corner. Oliver Eriksson, 8 points. Sami-Matti Trogan, 5. De Ridder, 4. 3 for Martel, 2 for Evgen, and 1 for Krogstad. Crucially, that increases the lead for Oliver Eriksson. They've got a long way to wait until they fly down to South Africa for the season finale. Eriksson up onto the roof, well happy, Dan.
Yeah, of course, he knows that was a crucial result. Obviously, he knows he's going to be taking the fight to South Africa, but he's got a good points lead there. He's got a little bit of a safe buffer.
That's a gift, isn't it? 1 corner from home. So this was off the start, super close between the 2 championship protagonists at the front. Want to see down at the hairpin, you spotted, didn't you, Dan? There was a change of lead down there. So this is through turn 2. At this point, Eriksson's back, and we're thinking it's advantage De Ridder. Krogstad got him on the brakes then into that corner. I was looking in the background to see what was happening and missed that, so
yeah, I think Krogstad got the inside of Eriksson where De Ridder forced a hole off the line, and he had a slightly better line, carried more speed through turn 2 and was just able to just shoot the car at the inside, and there's nothing De Ridder could have done.
Lovely job to get the 2 championship leaders like this, but this is the point, this is when you want to joker maybe 1 lap before the end to give yourself a bit of time. He's come through, he's gone on the gas to try to close the door, look, and at this point I feel so sorry for the young man who's had 3 podiums already this season. This one would have been the top step at one of the blue ribbon events of the year, and instead it has gone to the championship leader, Oliver Eriksson. Here are the standings with just 1 round remaining. Eriksson, as I said, came here with an 11-point lead. That has now gone up to 14. Guillaume De Ridder with a bit to do down in South Africa. Henrik Krogstad is now out of the title fight because there are only 30 points available there. It's going to be a 2-way battle, and we're going to have 2 drivers who are going to be very nervous for a good couple of months before we reach the season's conclusion.
Lots of celebrations, Oliver. During that final, I guess you were thinking you weren't going to win that race.
I thought so as well. I had a little bit too good start to tuck in behind the Ridder, so I tried to keep it out, but he was, he leant against me and I ran out of room, so I just had to tuck in behind, third, and then Krogstad was very on it and took the lead there. So it was just try to hang on, and when the joker played out and Krogstad came out in front, it was just hang on to it.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic stuff so far from Loheac. As always, we've been lucky with the weather this year. It was raining on Sunday last year. It didn't make much difference to the crowd, to be honest. They are always absolutely huge here. And you see them standing around waiting because the finale of this event is yet to come. We've still got some fantastic racing to show you, so stick around. Cannot wait for this. Dan, brilliant stuff so far from Supercar, RX2 as well. Of course, we've got the Euro RX Championship, which could be tied up here in a bit, but we're looking forward to these guys doing battle. Can anyone stop Kristoffersson realistically?
It'd be good to see, wouldn't it? We've seen a very strong performance from the Audis this weekend, so I'd like to see them get in amongst the mix. But yeah, we'll see. Time to find out.
I think it's going to depend. If you can beat Kristoffersson to turn 1, which is difficult when he's on pole, but having said that, he got a bad start yesterday in Q2. Then you force him to joker in traffic. Now, when the traffic is as tight as it is here, because it's only 1.1 in it, that's when you can beat him. But they've got to beat him to turn 1. And with the starts of the Volkswagen having the fact he's on pole, he's done what he needs to do, stuck himself on TQ. In some ways, you're looking for a problem for Johan for him to get beat.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's never nice to see a problem for someone, of course, but it would also be nice to see a new winner and see them really mix it up.
Yeah, it would. Kristoffersson is on for his 7th win of the year, his 5th win in a row. I'm just trying to see what's the most wins. 5 in a row was done by Jones. Okay, yeah, Solberg, 5 2014. I think he did 5 in a row. Johan did it, of course, last year he had 7. So he would equal his record of 7 wins, but with 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds still to go. So, you know, we're thinking the records he set last year probably wouldn't get beaten. There's Timur Timosyanov. Now, Timur is qualified in 8th place, and that is equal to his... Oh, no, he qualified 6th, actually. So Timur qualified 6th in Sweden, but he didn't make it through to the semi-finals. So it'd be great to see him go through. And, of course, the Peugeots will be absolutely flat out here at home in France. The silver foil over the top of the Peugeots and the GCK cars as well. Very factory team, just keeping the heat out of the cockpit for the drivers. Neil Cole is down the pre-grid and he's hunting down some of our front runners.
Timmy, the calm before the storm. You're just getting strapped in, ready for semi-final 1. You're right behind Johan Kristoffersson. What's the strategy?
I think probably I have to stay on my inside, so I have to go on what's positive about my grid slot. So I didn't get into first row, but it's on this track it can be really good to be on the inside as well. Then it's a lot about tire strategy and of course about the tactics, and we have to be flat out.
And what tires have you got? Can you tell us?
I've got new tires on the left, used tires on the right. Because I think I need to put my new ones now because I'm 3rd to hopefully get up the grid a bit for the final. For the final, I also have I have some really good tires left.
Good luck, Timmy. Thank you.
Timmy, fairly chilled. Interesting what you said about tyre strategy, Dan. This place is super abrasive, and of course we really don't know who's used what tyres here this weekend. They've also got some tyres left over from earlier in the season which they could have snuck in. So and when I say snuck in, I mean within the rules. There were extra tyres allowed at the first couple of events, so we always knew that Loheac was going to be a tough one. Johan even said to me earlier in the year, I'm not going to do much practice. What does he do day 1? 3 laps compared to everyone else's 9. So it is going to come into play, isn't it, tyre tactics?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're not sure, but we think we saw Matthias in Q4, maybe taking it a bit easy to save some tyres as well. And, you know, you got a clockwise track, and the gravel section is, you know, you can see visibly see there's rubber laid down on the circuit. So, you know, they are really making the most of these tyres.
Yeah, Ekstrom was struggling a bit, wasn't he? I mean, yeah, you say, Dan, saving tyres, but rather than, you don't mean driving slowly to save the tyres, you mean not putting new tyres on the car.
Yeah, so he'll be running on, you know, old... Well, I say old, they were probably new yesterday, but...
they're old in motorsport terms, aren't they? Done a couple of laps, mate, they're bin fodder, they are.
So, yeah, so would have been running, you know, tyres from, you know, qualifying earlier in the day, so...
Well, tyre tactics to play out. You can see yourself, there is not a cloud in the sky. Air temperature 24 degrees C, track temperature approaching 33 degrees C. So the temperatures are high. Tyre tactics are going to be critical, as is the lottery. That is turn 1 and turn 2 here at Loheac. This is one of the most important events on the calendar if you're a driver in the World Rallycross Championship, because this is Loheac in France. It's one of the classics. 70,000 French fans are here in support, of course, of their countrymen. They've got a couple of them through to the semi-finals. They'd be happy to see a Peugeot up there as well. But anyone who wants to be on the top step of the podium has got to stop Johan Kristoffersson from breaking records at round 8 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary is Dan Rook. He's been British Supercar Rallycross champion a couple of years ago, was runner-up in RX2 last year. Of course, we have Neil Cole reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid. Very much looking forward to this. If you haven't seen any of the qualifying live online, you should have done. We've had every single session live this weekend. You can go back and look at it later, but this is how they stand after the 4 qualifying sessions. Johan Kristoffersson taking his 5th TQ in a row and going to the top of the all-time list of top qualifiers. He has 15 to his name now, got 15 wins as well. Is he going to make it 16 today? Bakkerud P2, Ekström P3, Solberg P4, 2 Norwegians on the front row in semi-2, 2 Swedes in semi-1. Hansen, Liam Doran, 6th. He's on row 2 on his debut in the McGann for GCK. He hasn't done a round of the World Rallycross Championship for 2 years. And it's Kevin Hansen, Tim Janov, Niklas Gronholm, Kevin Eriksson, and look at there at the back, 2 Frenchmen just made it through, Schischerit and Loeb. So got a Frenchman at the back of the grid in both the semi-finals. Schischerit's been going really well here. Loeb hasn't really had a clear run. Have they saved some tyres at Peugeot? Is that why we haven't seen the ultimate pace in the 208 yet? We're pretty sure Ekström's got a set put aside, and Volkswagen do not miss a trick. It is semi-final time and we cannot wait. Now, Neil Cole was down on the pre-grid ahead of the semi-finals, and he managed to catch up with the man who's actually currently sitting on the pole right now. So before they got in the cars, he had a catch-up with Johan Kristoffersson.
Johan, pole position for semi-final 1. You and the car look impressive this weekend. Is there anything right now that concerns you before semi-finals?
Not really concerns me, but for sure I have to do my job. I have to have a great launch. Matthias have 4 new tires, and I mean, he's quick on the reaction. He had a consistent good launch all weekend, so I have to have a good launch, and from there on, if I'm out after T3 in the lead, I'm pretty confident that the pace is there, but you have to make it there first, and yeah, from there on we will see. But if I don't make the launch, I think try to stay a little bit more safe than all the overtakers have done in the qualifyings, and make the final and go from there.
And in your mind at the moment, is the championship a thing that you're thinking about when you get into the car, or is it out of your mind?
It's always in my mind. I'm always trying to think about the big picture and really try to save points for the whole championship. So for sure it will be the same, but I can admit I'm in a position to take a little bit bigger risks now than I did in the early season.
Hey, watch out everyone else. Thanks, Johan.
Thank you.
Well, there they are, look, rumbling away, 600 horsepower each, just ticking over, ready to launch down to turn 1. Temperatures are high, they won't want to sit there for too long, so let's get this show on the road. Here is the grid for semi-final number 1. On the pole position, Johan Kristoffersson. He's in unstoppable form. If he wins here, it'll be his 7th win and equal his record from last year. Matthias Ekström is P2. Can he stop him on the run to turn 1? 2 Peugeots on row 2. Expect Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen to give each other a little bit of room. And at the back, Niklas Gronholm for Hyundai and Gulan Schischerit for GCK. So the 2 at the back, of course, non-factory teams. Factory teams on the front rows. Matthias Ekström checking there several times that he was happy with gear. Revs up, ready to race. Here we go. Kristoffersson wants a good launch. They all do. Green light. Front row goes well, but Ekström's got the better start. Matthias Ekström is going to shut the door on Johan Kristoffersson. That is the first part of the job done. Timmy Hansen has a look up one side, but Kevin Hansen has a look up the inside. Kristoffersson, though, shuts the door on the curb. Gronholm trying to go around the outside of Kevin. Sticks a wheel out in the gravel. Schischerit comes past. Gronholm ducks out to the outside. Schischerit up the inside. Hits the back of Kevin Hansen. Kevin's going to have to go Joker. He didn't want to do that. Kevin Hansen goes Joker, but I think Schischerit won't get done for pushing there because it was lost it on the brakes.
No, so you know, Kevin also almost got forced in, like you said there, but Schischerit very sensible. You know, he backed it out. He was trying to avoid getting a penalty. We've seen a few people in the qualifying races drive through, and then you know, they end up with a time penalty. So
disaster for Kevin Hansen though. At the back of the pack, he didn't want to go, and you can see this is why he didn't want to go, because he knows he's got the pace to run with the front guys. guys. So watch for Kevin Hansen trying to make actual passes on track. He has to if he wants to make it through to the semi-finals. Into the Joker Lap goes Timmy Hansen. Timmy's gone already, and that's because the gap behind is significant, so they know they can cover off the third place and guarantee one car in, Dan.
So yeah, it makes perfect sense. You know, they've had a perfect first lap, haven't got too caught up with each other. You know, Schuster would have lost time when he had the contact with Kevin Hansen, so he was able to make up for that.
Perfect job. Timmy Hansen gets through the Joker and back up into third place. Kevin Hansen has moved up one spot. Gronholm, Joker and Kevin managed to get him, but unfortunately I think for Kevin that's getting him at the end of his charge. Matthias Ekstrom takes a little glance across into the mirror, pulls on the big gear stick. He leads from Kristoffersen, fastest lap of the day. Kristoffersen's on a charge, goes Joker. Here we go. Johan Kristoffersen into the Joker lap. This is absolutely crucial. He's quite sideways on the way in. Hard on the gas on the exit. Timmy Hansen going to try and come round the outside. Timmy's going to have a look up the inside into the left-hander. Can he make it stick? He can't. So Kristoffersen just gets in front of Timmy. So is that Volkswagen responding to Timmy?
Yeah, I think it could be. You know, they knew Timmy had clear air behind him, and there was the potential that, you know, Kristoffersen was getting held up a bit by Ekstrom. You know, he was able to pump in the fastest lap, so, you know, we know he's got pace, so he's gone in there, found himself a gap, and then now to try and chase down Ekstrom.
Ekstrom, I think, will go now because they know Kristoffersen's in clear air. Surely he goes Joker. He does. Matthias Ekstrom, this is for the win. This is for the pole in the final. If Ekstrom can take the pole, can he beat Kristoffersen? Kristoffersen's going to come around the outside. Ekstrom's looking to do it. He's done it. Ekstrom is in front of Johan Kristoffersen. So Matthias Ekstrom has put the Audi in front. He's got to hold on for a couple of laps, but Dan, that's a massive, massive move.
Yeah, that was really important. You know, Audi, they saw the gap and they went for it for the Joker lap, so they were able to get in and get back out in front of Kristoffersen, which, you know, if positions stay how they are, we're going to see, you know, Kristoffersen a bit boxed in P3 on the grid, so, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with the second Audi. There could be a potential for some team tactics here.
Fantastic, fantastic stuff. And this all comes down, now we can calm down a bit. Everybody's joking, you can see what the lead is. We've got a whole lap still to go. Basically, this comes down to Ekstrom getting the better launch than Johan. There are so many variables. If they've been saving tyres all day long, then you've got to get the RPM and everything bang on for a brand new set of tyres when you haven't done that all weekend because you've been using tyres to save a new set.
Yeah, of course, and you've got to also consider that on the start line, you know, there's been start after start after start, so there's always more and more rubber.
On Kevin Hansen, gets a great exit. Has Kevin got a problem? It's not going to make any difference. It's only for P4. Kevin will want to take that fourth. He won't be happy that he got the nudge from Shisharit. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're going to have a look at the Kevin coming through, 4th, 5th, 6th there, but this is about the 1, 2, 3. There they are. It's super close between them. We could be on for a great final here in France. Matthias Ekstrom takes semi-final number 1 ahead of Johan Kristoffersen. So Ekstrom has got the first part of the job done. As you see, Gronholm having a look at Shisharit right at the line. Good job, Gurlan Shisharit. Ekstrom takes it by 0.3 of a second. Here you are, you're on board with him now.
Yeah, he knows that was important. You know, you can see in his eyes, looks like he's almost a bit relieved there, you know, taking a few deep breaths. And he's just having a bit of a pre-race recovery.
So Andreas Backerud could take the pole position away from his teammate Ekstrom. Kristoffersen, we know, will be on row 2. Backerud and Ekstrom now, well, basically Ekstrom's going to be on row 1 because he was 3rd. So the only person who beat him in qualifying was Backerud. So he could, in theory, if he won semi-final 1, I think it would be Backerud on pole and Ekstrom on 2nd. But he's booked a slot on the front row. He's got Johan off the front row, and that's what they need to do to try and beat him. Here's a look back then at the start. That was the crucial thing, and then after that it came down to tactics. I'm really impressed with Ekstrom's pace because I was expecting Kristoffersen's, that when he banged that fast lap in, to maybe close the door.
Yeah, it was, you know, I mean, we can see on the time screens here beside us that Ekstrom was actually putting in some lap times that were, you know, roughly a tenth faster than Matthias, but overall in terms of race time it wasn't enough to crawl back and get the jump back on Ekstrom.
Yeah, he did a couple of 36 zeros, didn't he, whereas Matthias Kristoffersen 36 zeros and Ekstrom 36 ones. During the course of the race, Ekstrom has managed through that race distance to hold on to that all-important P1. Timmy Hansen chasing Kristoffersen hard. That's one of the Peugeots through. This was Ekstrom through the Joker lap. We saw Kristoffersen with a very, very hard charging Joker. It got him past Timmy, but it did not get him past Matthias Ekstrom. So the 2016 FIA World Rallycross champion is going to be on the front row. The current champion and protagonist is going to be on row 2.
Emil, that was a great result. It looked like it was all down to getting everything right at the start.
Yeah, the start here is super crucial, like always, and we just nailed it again, thanks to our good engineers and also the driver who did an excellent job at the start line. Then from there on, it was just about to manage the gap.
And then there was lots of mixed strategies, and it could have gone any way.
Yeah, it could, but I mean, here the yoke lap is pretty short, so it's not that much you can play with. But yeah, it worked out very well for us, and we are happy.
Good luck in the final.
Thank you very much.
That is exactly what they needed. We've been saying, what have you got to do to beat Johan? And it's been pretty clear. You've got to get him off the top qualifier spot. You've got to get him off pole in the final at least. So we know he's on road 2, and you know, he's possibly, I think he's probably, he will be on the inside because he was top qualifier. So he's going to end up in P3, Dan, and that's not really where you want to be here. It's boxed in.
No, exactly, but he'll be inside for turn 2, in turn 1, sorry, but then outside for turn 2. If he can hold it there, maybe get a run up the inside into turn 3, but who knows?
You never know. Crowd enjoyed that one. We did too. Very shortly, we'll be ready for semi-final number 2. We can hear bagpipes playing. That might be a bit of a surprise to you, but that is the regional instrument here of Bretagne, where we are, Bretons. Bit of laughter down in the crowd. It's not the bagpipes, I promise. But yeah, I had always thought bagpipes were only for Scotland. I don't know. Look at that there. An impressive moustache in the background as well. There's the band. Look, they're in the paddock just behind the pre-grid. Waving the regional flag of Breton as well. And we've got the second semi-final lining up and getting ready to go. I suspect that, yeah, the drivers are in the cars already, so they are going to be roasting down there. They're going to load the grid anyway. Sebastian Loeb with the door open, drinks bottle ready. But just nice and relaxed. Getting ready to slot the cars onto the grid. We've got another final coming up today with supercars. That's European Rallycross Championship. Championship leader Rainis Nittiches with Neil Cole now.
Rainis, this is the big moment. It could all happen now. Your European Championship. What's going through your mind before you raced in the final?
I would say the heart rate have been lower in the past, or yeah, but it's quite high now. But I just want to go out and do my best. I know it's not done yet. Before it's not done, we don't celebrate.
And give us a sense of just how tough the competition has been this weekend compared to previous rounds.
Now it's really high because Raymond is dominating. He's really quick. I would say we match the pace, but we are not faster than Szabo with Audi, Mark Lund, and Kallio Koski. Oh, we are yeah, bunch of the guys who are pushing hard and can do everything on the track.
All the very best.
Thank you.
Rainis with a significant lead coming here. He was 30 points clear. Cyril Raymond, who missed the first round in Spain, doing brilliantly to be up in P3. Anton Mock and up there as well. So 30-point lead needed to take the championship. Now this man here, this is Alain Bernard, double Olympic champion. Freestyle, if you're wondering. I like my swimming. He won the gold at Beijing in 2008. And he won another gold in London 2012 in the 4x100 relay squad. This man can swim 4 lengths of your standard pool in 47 seconds. Let me tell you, that's very impressive indeed. He can also run with the tricolor down towards the grid. So great to see him come in by a helicopter. The crowd enjoyed that. We've had some real treats here from the French Air Force as well, with fast jets flying over the top of the circuit, just screaming, making rallycross cars sound quiet. This is a fantastic event. We've still got more racing to come. Another 6 supercars on the grid already, look, ready for battle. And I'm looking forward to this because Liam Doran's in this one. And I know I'm not supposed to be biased as the international commentator for the World Rallycross Championship, but I love an underdog. I know you guys at home love an underdog as well. So we've got Andreas Backerud and Petter Solberg on the front row. Backerud could possibly take the pole position in the final if he wins this semi. On row 2, you've got Liam Doran on his debut for GCK. Having not raced in the World Rallycross Championship for 2 years, has come back and done an outstanding job. Timothy Mazyanov right up there as well. Bringing up the rear, Kevin Eriksson and Sebastian Loeb, the crowd favourite, the Peugeot man. with a clear run to the outside of turn 1, but it'd be brave to go round there. There he is. One last tighten on the belts. I'm sure they're tight already, but just tight, tight, tight. They go tighter and tighter until you finally get to release all that adrenaline when the lights go green, which they do now. Big wheel spin from backward, but he still gets away well. He's going to beat Solberg down to turn 1. Liam Doran's going to be on the inside of Timosjanov as they go through, and Sebastian Loeb has made a big effort to try and get through there, but Liam Doran holds on to 3rd place. Loeb right up underneath him. Doran having a look at Solberg. Solberg's got smoke pouring from the outside tyre. Sebastian Loeb is up to 3rd place already off the start, and I can hear the crowd up here in the commentary box. Loeb goes through into P3. Doran goes Joker. Timosjanov's gone in with him, so Timosjanov has gone into the Joker with Liam Doran. Those guys head through Ericsson at the tail end of the standard lappers.
Some real elbows out stuff there from Sebastian Loeb, but you know he had to do. He was at the back of the grid in last place and
guessed him.
Yeah, got in there. Yeah, I could see him. He was on the inside in turn 1, got on the inside again in turn 3, and he's trying to make the most of it.
Smoke pouring from the back of Solberg's car. He's had damage there. Is that going to hold out, or is he going to get a puncture? It's quite significant. Okay, it's gone now, so I reckon the piece of bodywork may be broken off that was causing it. Ericsson is going to be in the way of Liam Doran here, so he's going to hope that Ericsson gets out of the way, and he doesn't. So Liam now has got to contend with Ericsson if he wants any chance of making it through to the final. I have to say the front 3 are gapped him by a little bit.
I think I just saw something fly off the corner of Solberg's car, something black just on the back straight there.
So maybe the piece of bodywork which is rubbing on the tyre, or maybe a piece of tyre. You're going to find out soon enough. The rear left is really smoking up hard on Solberg's car as he comes past the commentary position. Sebastian Loeb can see it. He will know that that's an opportunity for him to maybe capitalise, and of course this might be one of Solberg's new tyres as well, so he may have to put an unmatched set on should he make it through to the final. Backward and the Audi doing really well here. Who's going to go Joker? Loeb goes. Here we go, Loeb into the Joker lap, so looking behind him. Loeb now is looking to get to the back row of the final at least. I think he'll come out in front of Ericsson. Ericsson's going to be quick around the outside, but Sebastian Loeb does it. So Loeb pretty much guaranteed to go through, Dan.
So yeah, Loeb's got P3 covered off now, and he's got a bit of room in front of him now to also make a bit of a push. So he's going to be really, really finding the limits of this Peugeot 208 and trying to get himself up into P2 in the semi-final.
Timosjanov is looking up the inside of Liam Doran. He can't quite do it. He looks to have more pace than Liam through there. To be fair, he's nice and smooth. Liam's chucking it around, but great job by the British bomb on his return to the World Rallycross Championship. Now Solberg goes. This will be in response to Sebastian Loeb. Again, he's deep on the jump. We saw Christopherson do that too, and I think Loeb's going to get him. Loeb around the outside, P6 on the grid. Listen to the crowd. They absolutely love it. Loeb moves up into 2nd. You can see them applauding. A fantastic drive.
Yeah, good lap there from Loeb. You know, he had to make the most of the room in front of him, and Petter knew once Loeb went, he had to go, and he just couldn't quite find the pace to match him.
Backerud has got a lead of 1.8. We think Loeb's Joker was around 1.2, so at the minute Backerud would stay in front. He goes Joker now. So Backerud goes to the Joker. The 2 World Rally champions are chasing each other down the back straight, but Andreas Backerud is looking to take the pole. Sebastian Loeb coming from P6. Can he put it on the front row for the final? Not quite. Andreas Backerud is just in front of him. There's another lap to go though. So around the outside, Backerud, Loeb's looking up the inside of him as well. Sebastian Loeb's absolutely flat out here through the right-hander. We ride with the legend. Backward sideways, bit of smoke from there. Loeb's the tiniest of these 3.
Yeah, smart move there from Audi to get Andreas into the Joker. You can see on the timing screens beside me that, you know, they are, Loeb was really chasing.
He gives him a nudge. He gives him a nudge, so Loeb lets Backward know he's there. Where's Solberg? Solberg's gone backwards, and Solberg's tyre finally gone down. It doesn't matter, he should hold on to 3rd place. Loeb runs wide. Loeb runs wide. He's out in the dirt. Can he get it stopped? So Loeb's made a mistake. He couldn't quite get it done. Solberg behind him has got problems of his own. And behind him, Ericsson gets pushed around by Timosjanov. I don't know where Liam Doran's gone. Backerud takes it. Backerud takes it. That's Ericsson versus Timosjanov, but Backerud has taken semi-final number 2. Audi have won both the semi-finals and will lock out the front row. Sebastian Loeb from the back row from P12 has made it to the final on row 2. Incredible performance. Solberg goes through to the back of the grid. Doran has just crossed the finish line. Brilliant performance by him on his one-off outing for GCK. I wonder if we'll see him back in that car again soon. But fantastic stuff. The French dream is still alive. Look at this. Look at this. I hope you guys can hear at home what we can hear in our headphones here. Dan, when he's going down the straight, you can hear them screaming for him.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear him over my own voice, you know, coming through the headset.
It's brilliant.
They're so patriotic, and, you know, waving to the crowd.
That's the first time we've seen Loeb wave all weekend. He knows that is a fantastic performance. Baccarat takes it from Loeb and Solberg. We are in for one hell of a final. Ericsson, Timosyanov and Doran are done this weekend. Woo. Right, Loeb on the outside. Where's he go? Just straight through there, thanks.
So yeah, he seemed to have found some holes. I don't know if he made his own or not, but he's up to P4 now. You can see just from turn 1. Then muscles his way back up the inside, Liam Doran again for P3, and then he's back on the back of the other factory cars.
Doran did the right thing to joke there. Timosyanov went with him. I reckon Doran was carrying a problem because Timo was all over the back of him. We've seen Doran be a bit quicker than that during the course of the week. I'm very impressed by Liam, but you know, man of the match here is Sebastian Loeb, isn't he? Because P12, I'm thinking, I don't think he's going to make it, and he's made it. He's ensured there's a Frenchman in a Peugeot in the final, and if he can go from 6th to 2nd, what can he do from row 2 in the final? Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see. You know, he's really pulled out of the bag for the semi-final. It looks like, yeah, Petter went a bit deep there in the joke lap, could probably help Loeb a little bit. We had to see a bit of contact on the way into the penultimate corner, and but it was just enough to edge Loeb in front. I'd say
Solberg and Kristoffersson with not the perfect joker laps, but they're in there. You cannot count Kristoffersson out. You cannot count him out. Loeb makes it through to the final, but it is Baccarat who will be on the front row. Fantastic performance from the young Norwegian.
Andreas, incredible to have a front row lockout for EKS, but did you expect that it would be Loeb chasing you to the finish? He started on the back row.
No, absolutely. Well done by Seb, and like it's great for him, for all the fans here in Loheac. Like they expect a lot for him, and it's cool that he comes back yet again. He's doing a great job now. The grip increase, so probably a little bit benefit for him now. I will say a huge thanks to EKS for putting both of the cars in the pole position in the final. All the volunteers here in Loheac for doing a great job. All our partners. We want to come back next year, so I need to go. I'm sorry.
No problem. Good luck. Thank you.
Baccarat there making reference to the fact that Audi have announced they won't be back in the team next year, and Baccarat says we want to be back next year. What better way to respond to maybe not being in next year than to go and lock out the front row? Absolutely outstanding by Audi, Ekstrom and Andreas Baccarat. They have got the first part of the job done. Can they stop Volkswagen dominating? Can they stop Peugeot winning at home? Amazing weather here for some amazing racing. There's a huge campsite which isn't very far away where I'm pretty sure a few wines will have been consumed. But here's a man who won't have been consuming any yesterday because he's absolutely on a mission today. Sebastian Loeb off the line. Dan Rook, talk us through this.
So yeah, he's relying heavily on his spotter here to get the call to go across to the inside, and he knows once he's here he can maybe push his way in. He doesn't want to be caught in the gravel trap to the outside. And he's seen a gap, he's brake late, and job done.
Super tidy. Solberg was sideways there. I'm not surprised he didn't go joker because the timing wouldn't have been right for him, but he nearly got forced. You know, there's a little bit of me that thinks if he'd gone, he might have ended up P2, but yeah, although he'd been forced into it, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, he looked like he maybe over-rotated a bit on the hairpin there to not get the best exit onto the standard lap. But, you know, given the fact that you've now got 6 cars in the final and they're all very close together, you know, he could have come out in heavy traffic.
Right, we're going to switch to Timosyanov. He go with Timmer off the line. Clear line of sight, look down towards turn 1, but now where he's just one car outside. Oh, hello, there's Doran and Loeb. So you go suddenly P3 to P5. Dan, when that happens, it's a bit like, okay, wow, you know, only left a small gap.
So yeah, a bit terms called being hung out to dry is like what we used to like to say.
Yes.
And, he can make the most of where he was on the grid.
I'm a little surprised he went joke there, and he definitely wasn't expecting Liam to, because Liam had gone slightly wide, and I kind of thought he might have a look up the inside of him through the long right. When you see it from driver's eye view, just gives you a totally different perspective of what they see and the decisions they're having to make in a split second. We're all right, we've got a camera and we can see everyone, what everyone's doing. You're looking through a letterbox.
Yeah, I think Liam had a very last-minute call then to go into the joker, and obviously Timosyanov saw a lot of action happening in front of him as well. Thought best to get out of it and made his move.
Tiny bit of contact there between Solberg and Loeb, but absolutely Loeb's line there. Loeb was well in front. So good job by Loeb to get the position over Solberg. Smoke pouring off the rear of Solberg's car, but he managed to hold on. While out front, backward had done a fantastic job. What have Audi done? Just save tyres all weekend?
It certainly seems that way. You know, in Q4 it looks like we didn't quite have they didn't quite have the pace that they were showing earlier on in the weekend. But you know, they've really come into their own. Maybe they were saving themselves some fresh rubber for the more important semis and finals.
Either way, they have locked out the front row. That is most of the job done, but not all of it. And Johan Kristoffersson is in an incredible run of form at the minute. Can he steal it from them? European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Run over 5 rounds this year: Spain, Belgium, Sweden, France and Latvia. We've got 1 round to go in Latvia, after here in France, of course, and the current leader is Reinis Nitish, the Latvian. Is he going to have to fight for the title at home, or is he going to go home as the champion? He needs a gap of 30 points. At the minute, he's got it, but as you can see, Raymond and Markland are in this final with him, so he needs to go there with 30. It then all goes into crazy countback situations based on the number of wins, number of seconds and so on. As you know, I'm renowned for terrible maths. Luckily, there's a man in the truck who's got a clever machine that's hopefully going to tell us what's going on. So we'll see how that pans out, shall we? But either way, this is going to be an absolutely fantastic race, the second to last final, and we've got a couple of interesting faces in this one. On pole position at home in France, Cyril Raymond in the Peugeot 208. He hasn't had a win. He's had a 3rd in Belgium and a 4th in Sweden. He missed the first round of the series in Thailand, yet he's right there. Christian Szabo, double Super 1600 European champion, moving up to Supercar, making his debut here in Supercar. He's on the front row. That's outrageously good. Reinis Nitish and Jiri Kaliakowski. Nitish doing a fantastic job. He also, of course, has won the Super 1600 title before. He'd love to add the Supercar title to that. Then we've got Anton Markland, the current champion, and Thomas Brinterson alongside him. Young driver who has done some fantastic performances in RX2 and now in Supercar up in the Nordic Series. So this is going to be fantastic. Very, very strong. You wouldn't be surprised to see these guys in the World Championship final. Zabo's got a brilliant start from the front row. Cyril Raimondo's got enough to shut the door on him on turn 1. Cyril Raymond moves out. Reinis Nitish is up the inside of Szabo. Szabo should be able to defend through the next corner. Markland trying to go with him. Markland wants to follow Nitish through here because it's Markland versus Nitish for the title fight. Kaliakowski having a look around the outside of Markland. Markland's trying to shut the door on the inside as well because Brinterson's having a look there. Where's Markland going to go? He goes Joker. Markland goes Joker. Brinterson's gone with him, and that's pretty decent tactics, I think, as long as he doesn't come out and get held up by... Oh, Nitish! Nitish with a problem. The championship leader's got a problem. Nitish, we think, has got a puncture, and Markland is through. So Anton Markland is through, and this is going to keep the title fight alive, possibly to Latvia. It needs to be 30 points when he leaves here. Markland, we think, needs to win this, really. Oh, Reinis Nitish, no! Dan!
No, it's such a shame for him. You know, he could have been on the brink of closing the title here, and contact through the first few corners has just meant that, you know, he's got a problem with the car, and perfect move from Markland to go straight in the Joker and get out of the way of the problems, and it's paid off for him.
He could still win it here because we think Markland needs to be further ahead than he is. If it goes to count back, but if Raymond can get within 30 points, it's all to play for. Look at Szabo, fully lit through the Joker lap. Szabo comes out in front. Raymond is still leading, so Zabo's in front of Markland. Markland really needs to win this to close that gap on Nitish as much as he can. So 30 points is what's available in Latvia.
So yeah, big commitment there from Szabo coming out of the Joker lap to make sure he secures his place in front of Markland. And you can see Markland's got to pass Szabo on the road if he wants to win this race.
Cyril Raymond then at the minute is looking to take the title fight to Latvia. It's a really long shot anyway, but you never know what can happen. You know, the Euro field is very, very strong indeed. So Raymond at the minute would close the gap to under 30 points. Reinis Nitish, who was looking really relaxed just a few minutes ago, is not going to be feeling very relaxed right now. Cyril Raymond, meanwhile, is looking to make his European Supercar debut win in France in a Peugeot. Yes, please.
So yeah, Cyril's now, he's got his Joker out of the way and he's 1.6 seconds clear, we can see on the timer screen, so he's really given himself a good cushion behind it.
You've raced Cyril, he's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, he's superb, you know, every time I seem to find free taps, he found another free tap, so he is just super, super quick, very, very talented driver.
Comes from a karting background, teaches karting, does it down at Paul Ricard, is it? I think he teaches karting, so he's in cars all the while. Obviously a go-kart incredibly different from a supercar, but seat time, seat time, seat time.
Yeah, to be driving something as your day job, it can't be so bad for when it comes to your racing in World Rallycross or European Rallycross.
There you go. You can see the championship points at the minute. Even Markland would be in the fight. He'd have to go to Latvia and win there, and then that would go and count back if it's as it is. 30 points, as I say, is the gap that Nitish needed. Nitish will keep going, despite the fact we think it's the front right is deflated on the car. Possibly it's a technical with it, we can't see. Is he going to struggle to turn it into the left? You can't see, doesn't matter. Cyril Raymond out front, but still with another lap to go. So Raymond coming through. Szabo, great drive. Super 1600, hasn't done anything all year. Did the test at Latvia with the factory back team and has come here and just done a fantastic job. Matthias Ekstrom was watching from the pre-grid yesterday, just checking everything was going okay, and I'm really impressed, Dan.
Yeah, it's super impressive. To come from a Super 1600 car, front-wheel drive. Cyril's obviously come from a RX2 car, which is four-wheel drive. So, Zabo's going to have the four-wheel drive to get used to, as well as the extra power.
Cyril Raymond has just a couple of corners to go. He was so disappointed not to win earlier on in the year, but what a place as a young French rallycross superstar to make your debut win in the European Rallycross Championship of Supercar. Raymond crosses the line sideways to take the win, pitches the Peugeot into a spin to stop in front of the grandstand. The crowd like that, and the championship will go to Latvia. Cyril Raymond has closed the gap down to under 30 points. Nitish is still the odds-on favourite for the title. But as you've seen here, anything can happen. Rainis Nitish now coming round underneath the commentary position. There he is. I think it's a technical with the car. It doesn't look like anything gone wrong, but no such problems for Raymond. Visor down, up on top of the car. Thank you very much. This is where I want to make my debut win. Loving the crowd, loving Peugeot. Brilliant. They wouldn't mind seeing that repeated, would they, by Sebastian Loeb in the World Championship. Fantastic job, Cyril Raymond, double RX2 champion, showing that that series has everything you need to train you to run at the very front of Supercar. 8 championship points to him. Christian Szabo on his Supercar debut, what a performance. Markland in P3 there, I think will be within reach when we go to Latvia, but would require a shocker for Nitish and a huge win for him. Brinterson, Kaliakoski and Rainis Nitish, who we thought might go away from here as the champion. He's going to have to wait, but he's going to try and do it at home in Latvia. Right, let's have a look at Nitish and see if there's anything obvious for us, Dan.
So, yeah, I think I saw Markland was getting a bit rough coming in there through here, so he's had heavy contact in the back and on the front at the same time, but, we couldn't visibly see a puncture. Maybe it was a technical, but...
No, it looks there, doesn't it? I think it's rear drive shaft to you. Maybe it almost looked... It did not look nice on the exit, did it, at all?
No,
see here.
Yeah, you can see him now. He's, he's really struggling to even keep the car in a straight line, so, yeah, drive shaft is a good possibility.
What a shame for Rainis. And, it's a bundle at the start. Anton's not done it on purpose, has he? I don't think we'll see. What we getting? Supercar. Okay, 14 and 15 contact under investigation. That's actually Kaliakoski and Nitish. So Kaliakoski is under investigation for contact with Nitish. Either way, Nitish is going to have to wait another fortnight until we go to Latvia for round 9 of the World Championship, for round 5 of the European Supercar Championship. But today is all about Cyril Raymond winning for Peugeot at home in France.
Cyril, we can see how much it means to you. It's an emotional, your first win in supercars, and it's here at Loheac in France.
Yes, it's unbelievable. I can imagine it's my dream. It was my dream to win here. Last year I won the RX2 championship, and this year I won in supercar. It was my first race in supercar in Loheac. Thank you so much, France, to my support. So thank you everybody.
Félicitations, well done.
Merci beaucoup.
Yes.
Super smiley at the end, but Cyril Raymond was looking very emotional there, and if you love sport, then that'll get to you. There's nothing like the emotion of someone who's put everything in for the win, and he's done it here at home. Brilliant. Anton Markland is within 30 points as well, so there is a 3-way title fight in prospect in Latvia. Rainis Nitish, as I say, is 26 points clear. He's just got to get safely through qualifying, and he'll be crowned the European Rallycross champion for supercars at home in Latvia. But this is by no means a foregone conclusion. You'll have to join us in a fortnight's time to see what happens in Riga. Mexican waves. And that is why final time here. Can't wait for this. An absolutely huge crowd in Latvia. In France. I'm in Latvian mode because we're waiting to go there for European Supercar. Okay, right, so we're getting ready for the final here in France. Check where we are. Neil Cole is with Sebastian Loeb. What can he do here?
Sebastian, we've just seen Cyril Raymond, very emotional, winning in France as a Frenchman. First of all, how on earth did you achieve what you achieved in that semi-final? And second, can you do it again?
Difficult to say. For the first time of the weekend, I had a good race, no trouble with slow guys or different other drivers, not stuck behind, a good start. Good. I was able to overtake 2 cars in the first 2 corners, and then it was a big push to try to catch up in the front. We know since the beginning of the weekend that the performance of the car is good, but it was difficult to get everything together, so it was a very tough qualifying, but a good semi-final, so hoping for a good final.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Monster Energy Supercharge Award. Last time out that went to Yanis Baumanis. He was absolutely made up to stand on the podium in Canada. They took him down to the holding area and he's like, why are you bringing me down here? Almost a bit cross that he'd been diverted. He won the Supercharge Award. No way, really? Absolutely made up. Showed a picture. I think he was a picture of it in his suitcase. It was the entire suitcase basically held by the huge Monster Energy Supercharge Award. That is a huge crowd full of French people. They don't leave until after the final, regardless of whether or not there's a Frenchman in the final. But I'll tell you what, when Sebastian Loeb has battled his way through from the last row of the semi-finals to get through to the final, well, you definitely stick around. Timmy Hansen. Bagpipes still playing in the background. If you missed earlier, it's the regional instrument of Breton, the region we're in. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, Sebastian Loeb having a look inside the car. No, sorry, they're looking inside Sebastian Loeb's car. No, we're wondering if it was a problem. I think he's just checking something. What's he doing? Making a few adjustments to the switch gear, which is down low in the car. That's to keep the weight down as low as possible. You can see Sebastian Loeb's helmet on the floor there too. Loeb will be one of the last ones into the car. He always is. Check the phone. Look, there he gets. Here's the phone. Take my phone. That's a hold my beer, isn't it? I've just got to jot it. Yeah, you can't win from there. Hold my beer. So you can't win from there. Hold my phone. Balaclava, this is the bit that I love. The build-up to the action. Zipping the suit up. He really doesn't mind getting in late. I hate getting in late. I've only done a couple of races down. You've done a load of races. I hate getting in late. It feels stressful. Loeb seems to like it. Why?
I mean, obviously the cockpit of a car is a very hot environment, especially on a day like today where you've got no clouds in the sky and, you know, outside temperatures reaching 25 degrees. In the car is going to be a lot hotter than that, so to avoid being in that atmosphere, it'll keep you cool for the race.
And it's a bit of a rush too, isn't it? There are so many different ways people prepare for these things. Like you get in the last minute to give yourself a bit of a rush because you're rushing. You know, you see Timmy Hansen beating himself up in the car to try and get the adrenaline flowing. So many different approaches. You got backwards sitting on pole ready to go. You got Loeb doing up his seat belts.
So yeah, he's really dragging out the warm-up process for everybody here. Of course, now what you got to remember is, you know, like you say, backwards in his car, he's ready to go, and Loeb knows that he's going to be sat there a bit apprehensive for the final.
Temperatures rising in things like air intakes, you know, there's all sorts of little tactical things. Kristoffersson to the grid. Yeah, we're all sitting here thinking, he can't win this time. Kristoffersson's not going to get his 7th win, but we all know very well if there's anyone out there who's capable of going, I'm not having that, I'm going to win. It's the man with the #1 on the car and the absolutely huge championship lead. It was 55 points. That was over Sebastian Loeb, so it's going to be more now because Loeb qualified down in 12th. So Johan has been on the front row of the final everywhere since Portugal, because he didn't win on the front row from Belgium. And you know, Loeb's a good example. He's come from the 3rd row. He's come from the outside of the 3rd row. I actually like Loeb's starting position. You can can see it there. He's got clear road in front of him, and I'm absolutely certain that the Audis will scissor to close the door on Kristoffersson.
Yeah, so as you know, as it's no secret that the VW is a fast starter, and the Audis are having good starts this weekend as well. So they'll come together. They don't want to get too tangled up, but they will definitely be shutting the door.
Sebastian Loeb will be looking for them to have a problem and to go around the outside, but of course we've seen people get hung out to dry in the gravel trap. Timmy Hansen, his teammate, might be looking to make a similar move. I wouldn't be surprised to see Timmy sweep to the inside. You are going to find out in just a few moments' time. Here's the grid for the final of round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. The two factory Audis on the front row, Andreas Backerud and Matthias Ekström. The world champion and world championship leader, the top qualifier, Johan Kristoffersson, has been pushed down to row 2. Sebastian Loeb qualified in 12th, and he's managed to make it up onto row 2 for the final. Solberg and Timmy Hansen in support of their teammates, but they'll happily take the top step of the podium themselves. Oh, I'm pacing in the commentary box as far as you can pace when you're attached to television equipment. I'm so nervous for this one. 6 factory cars, Audi, Volkswagen, Peugeot, to do battle in France. It's Peugeot's home territory. Kristoffersson's been the favourite. Great start by the two Audis. Loeb's going to move across on Kristoffersson straight away. Kristoffersson's going to have to slide into third. Loeb's going to try and go around the outside, on the inside of turn 2. Backerud gets the whole shot ahead of Ekström. Ekström's going to slot in. Hansen's trying to come around the inside of Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson's surely going to shut the door in the braking zone. He does. Kristoffersson is wise to that. Could not be closer from P2 down to P5. Contact between the 4 cars on the rear. Solberg's gone joker on lap 1.
So yeah, Timmy Hansen there tried to copy exactly the same as Sebastian Loeb in his semi-final. Moved from the outside of the grid onto the inside, got himself a clean line around turn 2, and then was able to get up to P4 down into the hairpin.
Backerud a bit untidy through the second to last corner. Look at the difference between him and Ekström start, and Backerud himself is pretty tidy. You're on board with Matthias Ekström into turn 2. Backerud backing it in. Look at Ekström though, keeping it super smooth.
Yeah, I'm sure Backerud is feeling the pressure here. You know, he's in front of his boss.
Oh, Kristoffersson, Andreas Backerud gets the Monster Energy supercharger award. Kristoffersson is right up behind. Oh, Kristoffersson goes joker, but he gets a tap. Kristoffersson goes joker, he gets a tap. That might actually have helped him turn it in. Backerud and Ekström are in now. I think Audi will respond immediately, but has Solberg managed to get the better of his teammate? Kristoffersson's going to come out in traffic, so Kristoffersson in traffic behind Loeb. What do you do if you're Audi? Hold on and try and gap them while you've got time, or do you risk Kristoffersson and Co catching up?
It depends really, you know. Ekström looks like he's got pace over Backerud.
Kristoffersson looking up the inside of Loeb. Sorry, Dan. Do you send one Audi maybe?
Yeah, I think so. You know, one of them. It's just which one. You know, does Ekström have ultimate pace over Backerud? Would they dip Backerud out to let Ekström try and get the?
Let's have a look.
Run?
Let's have a look. Loeb goes joke on both the Audis have stayed out. Loeb's gone joker. That releases Kristoffersson. So now Audi have really got to think about it, because Kristoffersson's been given just 12, 15 metres of track, which is probably all he needs to try and close the gap.
Yeah. So I mean, we're seeing the Audis working well together here. Loeb's obviously dropping out to the back of the train. Timmy Hansen's in front of Kristoffersson, still hasn't jokered yet. It's looking like there's just enough of a gap for Andreas. I'm not sure about Ekström, but we'll see how it unfolds.
When you sit on board with Ekström, it looks painfully slow for Backerud in front. He's absolutely on the limit in a 600 horsepower car, but having to be so patient on the throttle. Who's going to go joker? Ekström's right up underneath Backerud. We need to see if either goes in. They don't. Neither has gone in. So Audi are holding on. I wonder what the lap times are doing, whether or not they're managing to gap the guys behind or not. Hansen at the minute is in front of Kristoffersson. Until Hansen goes, Kristoffersson can go nowhere unless he manages to put a pass on him. But I think the Peugeot is quick enough, that's not going to happen. So Backerud and Ekström, the problem here for Backerud as well is he could hold up Ekström as he rotates into the joker lap. So Ekström almost needs to know the tactics. If Backerud is to joker first, they need to tell Matthias.
Yeah, I'm sure the spotters will be talking to each other and telling them what they're thinking. So joker time 1.2. Think Backerud could get it by 2 attempts, maybe it'd be close on the merge.
They're not gone.
They're going to go together on the last lap and try and hope the merge works out for them.
Fair enough. Right, here we go then. So the gap back to Kristoffersson is 1.3. The joker lap here is 1.1. Is Matthias Ekström going to play rear gunner to Andreas Backerud? You're going to find out very soon indeed. We've got a couple of laps to go. Might they split it for safety? Will they send them both together on this last one? Backerud hasn't won since Argentina in 2016. So Andreas Backerud looking for a debut win for Audi. On the brakes, is he anchoring it up enough to go joker? He is. Backerud goes, and so does Ekström, so does Hansen. This is it for the win then. There's another lap. Sorry, the last lap now through the joker. Backerud, oh no, Kristoffersson around the outside. Kristoffersen sweeps around the right hand of the checkered flag is out. His 7th win of the year. He's done it. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I thought Audi had got him there, and Kristoffersen has done it. He's equalled his win record from last year. Incredible. I'm speechless.
I was convinced that Backrud would have been a bit closer there. I think Kristoffersen on the penultimate lap, they pulled in a really fast lap time and was able to just close the gap. You know, if Andreas maybe went a lap before, it wouldn't have been quite so tight.
3 36.4s in a row compared to Backrud 36.4, 36.5, 36.6, loses 0.3 of a second, and then his Joker lap was also, looking at it, I think was possibly a few tenths low. Well, there you go. Kristoffersen he's unbeatable.
Tommy, I heard you on the radio speaking to Johan just then going, yes, yes, yes. I mean, no one expected that from the grid position.
No, we know that we have to be patient. We know that we have very good tires with us for the final, and we know that we might be strong in the end of the race. So we was just wondering how long we can wait to take the Joker. And now, when there was not Joker in front of us, we have to wait until the last lap, and then it was to push everything. And it's amazing to have another win in France in front of this big crowd. It's just amazing. So great. And this weekend wasn't easy at all, because we have to fight all the way from the first heat through the 4 qualis, and then also in the final fight. So well deserved.
Well done. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
1.5 seconds covering the top 6 cars. That's just so close. It was a 3:44.7 for the win and a 3:46.3 for the 6th place. Incredible. Timmy looked out really wide, having a look at what everything's doing, and in fact managing to edge past 2 cars immediately. Great tactics from Timmy Hansen. But I can't quite figure out how he's done it.
No, like I was saying, I was convinced that Andreas had enough of a gap there. Whether maybe Audi split strategy, something.
I think they should have done. I personally think they should have split the strategy. I would maybe. The trouble is, if Ekstrom had gone, he definitely would have been taken by Kristoffersen, because he would have done. He was the 2nd place car. If Backrud went, it compromised Ekstrom by a 10th maybe, when Backrud has to overbrake. So surely you just say, Matthias, run wide, Backrud Joker now, and you send Backrud 1 lap earlier. I can't believe they didn't do it, but it's easy for us to say, you know, the spotters are under huge pressure, and look at that. The 2 VW slotting in between the 2 Audis in a gap which just wasn't there, and Kristoffersen takes his 7th win of the year. Johan Kristoffersen takes the win, 8 championship points, extends his lead even further. Andreas Backrud wins the Monster Energy Supercharge Award and gets P2. He hadn't won since 2016. We thought he was going to do it here, and he didn't. Petter Solberg gets P3. Volkswagen put both cars on the podium again. Matthias Ekstrom is 4th. Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Loeb. The dream over for Peugeot at home. They are 5th and 6th. It's a good performance, but it's not enough. Incredible performance from Johan Kristoffersen. Equals his record of 7 wins in a year. Surely he's not unstoppable until the end of the season. Peugeot flags being waved. Podium is being loaded. There's Johan on top of the roof. Yeah, see, it's easy, isn't it, for us to be like, oh, I thought someone else was going to do it. But Johan has put everything into that.
Yeah, you've got to remember that, you know, this is his life, isn't it? You know, they've thrown a lot of time and effort into building these cars and testing and all the rest of it to be out here and be the best, and it's showing its worth.
Incredible performance. Just incredible. You see what it means to the team. You see, you know, again, you know, so many wins. You think, oh, they'll get over it now. You know, they just keep winning. They wouldn't be so excited about it, but they are, and it's great to see.
Of course, if you've attended a rallycross event before, you only have to look in the awnings and see how busy all these mechanics are. So it's a lot of hard work goes in over a weekend. You know, there's a lot to check over, and the engineers and everybody else, everyone's working on such high pressures. So this is why it's great when it pays off.
They didn't think it was Geno. I think they thought when they got mugged in the semi-final, they were like, and went with a double Audi front row. It's like, okay, this is really hard work now, and they've done it. Yeah. Well, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Right, we're going to take a look at Sebastian Loeb on board with Loeb. So he goes to make the move he made in the semi from left to right. Kristoffersen's up his inside, a little bit of contact, but nothing untoward. Solberg tries to go through as well. Loeb's not having any of that. He's like, you can have some of that in the rear three-quarter, which might be where the smoking was coming from on that rear left tyre.
Yeah, so Loeb
was
really
was that the semi? I can't remember.
Too much has happened. But no, Loeb really forced out wide there, and you know, door well and truly prized open by Kristoffersen.
I think at this point as well, you know, where in the first race he went 6th to 3rd in 2 corners, you need that instant progress if you're going to stand any chance of doing something special, don't you? So he didn't get the instant progress, and likewise Hansen in front behind that chain of 3 cars. So different Joker tactics from Volkswagen. I've been saying for a while, the only way you can beat Kristoffersen is to make him Joker at a different time. You have to make his spotters work and have him Joker. And yet he's Joker at a different time, and he's still done it.
So yeah, really good tactics from VW there. You know, they they really showed how hard they can work and under pressure, and how it doesn't always go their own way, but they were able to turn it round and really nail the event.
He has done it again. Johan Kristoffersen takes his 7th win of the season here in France. It equals his record from last year. Just an absolutely incredible job. His teammate Petter Solberg finished in 3rd, so Volkswagen both on the podium. Petter is with Neil Cole now.
Petter, when you set off from the grid, did you think that a podium was going to be a possibility?
Of course, you always believe that, you know, and same time it died out a little bit. The cars was moving left, right in the front, so I tried to get in just in a good position. I felt like I actually did the best I could on that point, and something happened in the second corner, third corner, and then I went to Joker and went flat out, and then Johan came out just like this. So, but anyway, it was fantastic. I pushed properly. It was high speed all the time. Tires started to be very warm, but it's a good feeling. Both cars on the podium after a little bit hard work semi-final.
Well done. Thanks, Petter.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Championship standings, he came here with a 55-point lead, I think it was, and it's now up to 59. So he's nearly 2 whole events clear. Just 1 point to be scored to give him a 60-point lead, which should mean that Kristoffersen would be able to tie the title up in the USA when the World Rallycross Championship comes to COTA, the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas, for the very first time at the end of the month. So it's 2 weeks' time to Latvia and another 2 weeks after that before we head to America. So 4 weeks' time, is he going to be a double world champion? We'll find out. Bakkerud, up to 2nd in the standings, was desperate for the win here. He's with Neil Cole now.
Andreas, I thought you had that. Viewers at home thought you had it. I'm sure you thought you did. It must have been frustrating to get to the end and not win that race.
Yeah, it is. It was a hard one to swallow. I mean, like, you're in the lead for 5 laps, you get called into a Joker, and I was pushing, you know, I was pushing everything I could for all the laps, and, you know, being in front here in Loheac with the different grip levels we have all weekend, it's very hard to be up front, chasing your own time and try to go faster, push, but I was doing my best. I couldn't have done any differently, so I'm very pleased with the whole performance for EKS, the sport, and I mean, just a big thank you to everyone that have been pushing hard after some bad news before the race, and you know, we want to carry on going, we want to keep on fighting, and I do my best, Matthias does his best, and all the mechanics and the crew in the team are doing their best, so we try to take step by step and getting closer, and it was very nice for us to have 2 cars on pole position for the final. It was racing hard into the first corner. I tried my best. I'm very sorry to all you Backer Blue as well. I know you guys are back home watching, so yeah, next time. It's always the next time. I smell this victory, you know, but not quite now.
Next time, Andreas. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Oh, well done, Andreas Bakkerud. So close to the win. I think this is the best motorsport in the world. I'm slightly biased in that, but I'll be desperately disappointed if we don't see EKSRX on the grid next year. So let's hope they can find the support they need to return. Audi have said that they're leaving. You can't leave this championship. It's the best. Where are you going? This is a brilliant series. So let's hope we see EKSRX and we see Bakkerud and Ekstrom back at the top of the podium soon. Okay, let's take a look at the team's standings. PSRX Volkswagen Sweden at the top of the table from EKS Audi Sport, who move up. Team Peugeot Total moved down. So good job there by EKS Audi Sport this weekend. Yeah, say up to second there. The three factory-backed teams at the top, and but Volkswagen Sweden with a tidy lead. Well, that tidy lead is due to the man who's taken 7 wins. Not entirely on his own, of course, Solberg's help, but Johan Kristoffersson is with Neil now.
Johan, it's interesting to watch your body language, because that was an amazing win. All the maths during the race looked like you weren't going to take the lead, but you look slightly rattled, like it didn't go according to your plan.
Yeah, it was a hectic final, you know, and semi-final as well. The semi-final was not really regarding the plan. Of course, I would like to be on front, but Matthias had a great launch. I didn't have my best tires for the semi-final. I saved them for the final, so I knew I'm going to be quick in the final, but as long as you are in the pack, it's very tricky to make the difference out of the tire. But I made a quite early joker lap, and then it's very tricky when everyone is joker in front of you, and I didn't know, is Timmy going now or not, and he was a bit crossed over, so is he going, is he not? And I lost so many times over there, but it was just enough to come out in front of Petter, first of all, and then just enough to come out in front of Backrud. I have to say big thanks to the team, amazing job, and both cars on the podium, just fantastic.
Well done, enjoy another victory.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely fantastic performance by Johan. You see, disappointed, and that's the thing you see, yeah, it wasn't in the plan. The plan was what it always is, TQ, win the semi, whole shot, win the final. Yeah, Johan loves to go 5 mega laps, you know, and then take the win. And you know, this time it didn't quite go according to the plan. He's still done it.
No, exactly. I mean, you know, every team comes in with exactly the same plan, and PSRX normally manage it, but didn't all go their way this time.
Yeah, this one means a lot to him. I think he's had a lot of fights this weekend. Yeah, you could argue the fight back in Canada was more impressive to come back, you know, from where he did. But I think this one's been more exciting for him. He enjoyed the fight with Liam Doran yesterday. Liam, who's not in the championship and doesn't mind getting his elbows out. You know, he's enjoyed that, and he's definitely enjoyed coming from row 2 in the final to take his 7th victory of the year. Number 1's on the podium, number 1's on the car. If it's not on the car next year, he's had an absolute shocker, because he is a country mile in front in this championship. Absolutely outstanding performance. Solberg takes P3, Backrud P2. I think Petter's pleased with that. I think Petter is pleased with that. Crowd are too. No Peugeots this time on the podium. Monster Energy Girls heading up with the awards for the guys. And the champagne, finally. Kristoffersson is very used to that, isn't he? Backrud nearly got it, but it wasn't quite enough. There's the Supercharge award going to Andreas. Fastest start, even not quite enough. Round 8 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship done and dusted at Loheac. That was the tricolour being delivered by a French Olympic legend. 2 gold medals to his name, Alain Bernard. Good lad, flying in via helicopter. That's style. Lowe flies in via helicopter too. He had some style on him in his semi-final to make it from where he did up to the front, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. Dan, good weekend?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. You know, thank you for having me back in the commentary box. It's been very busy, to say the least, but I've enjoyed every minute.
Thanks for being with us. So Sebastian Loeb making it through, keeping those French dreams alive. Kristoffersson, of course, beaten by the Audis. Backrud up onto the front row, and we came to the final. The 2 Audis did what we thought they'd do. They shut the door on Kristoffersson. The 2 Peugeots tried to get in the hunt, coming around the outside with some clever tactics. They waited until the very last lap, while Johan Kristoffersson had gone just slightly earlier. In they went on the final lap. It was something like 1.3 seconds. It should have been enough. With anyone else, it might have been enough, but not with this man. The world champion, Johan Kristoffersson, takes his 7th win of the season. Will he make it a record-breaking 8 in Riga in Latvia? You can find out in 2 weeks' time.